All right, everyone, welcome back to Lakeside Legendz. We are a community of fantasy TTRPG games, and today we are going to be playing in the Tragedy of Etharis, which is a spin-off of our Chronicles of Ravira series, which you can check out on the YouTube or the VODs. And it is a homebrew D&D TTRPG run by me, Cole Wolfrun, with these lovely people who I'm totally not going to murder with snakes throughout this entire mini-series. A couple announcements before we get started. Our community Discord, Lakeside Legendz, is open if you want to come and hang out and look at memes, mostly Lord of the Rings memes and storytelling and lots of other stuff. Also, our website, lakesidelegends.com, has a lot of fun, nifty things for you to look at. And this is kind of our Christmas special, so Merry Christmas! Or happy holidays.
We don't know when this is coming out, but it's Christmas time.
Happy holidays, everybody! Happy holidays, everybody! Whatever your holiday may be, and but we will be right back with the return to Etharis. Welcome back, everybody. Where we last left off, our party here, they beat the hydras and they stopped the ritual, but not after enough time had passed. But the world serpent did regain its physical being, but at severely reduced power, and it sunk away into the ocean as they fled from the world serpent. And last we left off, a few key things to note is Atropa realized that her god is the child of the world serpent. Bob just kept hyperventilating the whole time. And I think that was the big reveal was just that. But the world serpent is loose, and now they're back hanging out with the king in his office. As he looks like he's gotten even older since last time you guys saw him. It was only been a day about, and he already looks worse. Sitting around in the office are also Eliara Wolfrun and Lord Hugora. They are the only two survivors, which Bob does mean your ex-wife did perish in the fight.
I mean,
am I supposed to be upset or?
Oh no!
No. She was a nice lady. We just weren't right for each other.
So the king just well, it looks like you'll have to expedite our plans. All of you will be going. All 7 of you. Possibly 8. Lady Angle, you may want to discuss with your bodyguard. He is adamant that he join you.
Absolutely not.
He refused to leave when I sent the rest of your order back to Ravira. He's gone into town for supplies and will be back in the morning. I dismiss you all for now, and we will reconvene in our war room on the morrow. Blackwood will require your assistance earlier than the others.
Of course.
Eliara, you as well. Right? Leave me. The guards kind of slowly usher all of you out of the room, and Atropa, as soon as you walk out of the room, you see Edith there, and she goes, "Oh, well, that's good. Triss thought you were dead, like very, very dead."
Why?
I may have had a someone following you who announced the serpent is back and the building was destroyed.
But we got out. We're fine.
Yes,
Now?
you may want to go tell Bliss or Bliss Tris Bliss Tris Bliss.
Yeah. Where is she?
In your room.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I'll go find her.
The rest of you have the evening to rest or do whatever you would like. There is the bar, there is food, there is going to your rooms and doing anything you would like. You have options.
I would like to real quick. I will kind of just real quick wave my hand over my chest where those like shards went into me. I'm just gonna cast detect magic just to see if there's something about me at the moment.
There is
Yeah, makes sense.
not standard conjuration or any other type of school of magic either. It seems very. You have dealt with divine magic and devilish magic over your many years, and it feels like a mix of both.
I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. Does it feel, or does it look and seem at all similar to the magic that is currently afflicting the king?
You would have to look in a mirror for that, or ask someone around you.
I will. What will I do? I will go back to my room and just do a self-examination, just to see
notice
how
that the
my body is.
Now, while you did have some white streaks and some like gray in your beard because you are older, you notice you got a lot more gray going because, and you notice that there's veins appearing on your face and in your eyes, and it seems to be mostly contained to your face as of right now, but you see there are veins poking out from the bottom of your beard heading downward.
I'm going to, because I'm about to go to bed, I'm going to cast Dispel Magic at 9th level. Basically just in my, like, I lay out like an entire like proper wizard's ritual with lots of arcane artifacts and symbols and writing in wax and chalk on the floor, trying to channel literally some of the most powerful magic in the world into myself to try to dispel whatever this affliction is.
You cast the Dispel Magic and you see for a moment you return to your vivid younger self. And then you feel an excruciating pain in your heart. And you fall unconscious.
Cool.
You awake a little bit later and you, I'm assuming, check yourself out again in the mirror.
Yeah.
You look worse.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
And based on what you kind of gleaned in from your examination of the king, you can tell it's the exact same curse.
Marvelous.
Or if it's a curse or whatever it is.
I will take the rest of the evening and begin writing letters back. I imagine as the Archmage, I have a way of quickly expediting letters back to my city. Yeah. So I spend the rest of the evening writing letters back to my the other folks around me, my subordinates. I don't want to say subordinates, but the people I work with, as well as my friends and close people to me, probably the remainder of my family in the city, just kind of laying out not the details of the situation, but enough that to communicate that letting them know that I fully am not expecting to make it to the end of whatever this is, and just where the ensuring that my will and the things that will be enacted, the transition of authority when I'm gone, just to sort of tie up any loose ends that might be there should I likely not make it through this or be able to cure this affliction.
I would say that one of the letters you do get out, you hear a tiny little knock at your door in the morning. we'll get back to everyone else.
Yeah.
Actually, we'll save that. We'll do everyone else first.
Yeah.
Bob, what do you do?
So leaving, if I can see any of the people that my ex-wife was with, any of that party member, I wanna try to catch one of them and kind of reach out. Do I see any of them?
So Lord Hugora, the large Kolsar man, and Eliara Wolfrun are both like kind of walking away from the king's chambers. Hugora, he's kind of heading back. He's kind of going off on his own. He's heading towards a chapel, and Eliara, she's beelining it for the bar. So,
Okay.
which one do you want to head with to?
Bar sounds good. Let's go there.
Okay, you kind of follow her in there, and she looks at the satyr barkeep, and she goes, "I need as many shots as you can give me of the strongest thing you had. My lady, I'm not supposed to. I had 2 little brothers die today. If you keep me from my booze, I will place my sword directly through your skull." Yes, and he just there is a line on the bar of just shot, all the way down the bar. And she starts going down it. She notices you, she turns and she goes, "Well, dwarf, you care to join me, or are you just going to stare?"
Yeah, I'll take half of the number that you just had.
Well, she didn't drink all of them. She'd only gotten like 2 in, and there's about 20 left, and she's just...
Oh, can I like take these last, like, I'll just like grab the end too.
Yeah, after she takes the third, she casts Lesser Restoration on herself, just so she can keep drinking.
Well, that's a very nifty trick that you have. I don't have that.
Just-
I'm sorry for what happened. Do you mind? My ex was actually with you. Do you mind telling me what happened?
The ranger, the archer,
Yeah.
we got there as the wolf was being reborn. We were fighting it, and she distracted it. She shot it right in the eye as it was about to chomp down on Lord Hugora, and she drew it away so we could escape.
I'm sorry you had to see that. That sounds like her, though.
I'm a little upset I don't get to kill that one. I guess the serpent will be consolation.
I mean, the goal is to kill both, right?
Oh, trust me, if we deal with the serpent and the wolf still around, I will be heading to that continent. She's not looking at you at all. She's not looking at anyone. She's just staring. That's kind of why I'm looking down like this. She's just staring at the bar.
Are you okay? Do you want to talk about anything? Not that I'm great at this, but I can try.
She picks up a drink and she goes, "Drinks first."
I can do that. I'll like clink and tap down.
And she just kind of looks up and she goes, "My little brothers were not the smartest men or the most eloquent or frankly, the nicest, but they were my little brothers." And she just stops and she goes, "More drinks." And she just, after every like 2 or 3 drinks, another cast of Lesser Restoration. He continues taking the shots. She goes, "I know she was your ex, but were you and she close still?"
I mean, we talked, not so much lately. We kind of fell out after our son died, but I mean, we were together for a long time and I still loved her even though it didn't work out.
She goes, I'm very sorry for both losses."
It's okay. It's the downside of living long.
The big man, she tossed something at him and said, "Give it to the dwarf," before she fled. So he has something for you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. What was his name again?
I didn't catch his first name. Hugora is his family name. Gods, I'm just as bad as my brothers. Takes another shot.
Well, thank you. I'm sorry again for what you had to go through and that you lost your family. I know what that feels like.
Appreciate it. And I'll look forward to traveling with you as we head to deal with the monster.
You as well. And I'll like give her 2 pats on the back and then kind of slowly like back out, kind of like when you're trying to ghost a party.
I had 2 situations written out for who you went and saw first, and I was like, oh, she's going to Eliara first. Okay, that's going to be awkward. She's not happy right now. Okay, but before we go into the next one, let's go, because the other 2 are probably going to be pretty interesting conversations. Farrell, do you have anything you want to do?
She's just gonna go out into the town and probably wander for a bit and then probably find herself back at the same bar that she took Angle to before. Just nothing in particular. She doesn't have any connections, so there's no way she needs to speak to.
There's a large half-orc bartender, and she just kind of looks at it and she goes, oh, well, what do you have?
Ale?
Simple, like it. And she pulls out 3 different mug sizes, one normal, one big, one real big. She goes, which you look like you had a bit of a day. Which one worked for you?
She points at the normal one and just kind of smirks.
Good on you. She pops up in the ale, just puts it in front of you. And she goes, anything else, dear?
Nope. And just gonna go sit in a corner. Sarah wouldn't be with her. She'd still be with Angle. So kind of like starts to settle in, adjusting herself because she normally is used to that kind of small weight, and then realizes, oh yeah. And then just sits there and starts probably very small sips and just watching the room. Just that's it. Nothing. Like I said, doesn't really have anybody. So yeah, probably just observing the room.
We'll come back to you because I have something for you because I kind of figured you're going to go back to that bar. So, okay, we're going to do. Well, Angle, you can either go out and look for Tumult, or you can wait to see him in the morning.
So there's a lot of things that I need to do. There's like 3 different things for.
Okay, what you want to do first?
So seeing that Bob has got Wolf Run, Angle's actually going to go after Higora. His name was Kor, right?
Yeah.
Is he a prince or what?
He is just a lord.
Just a lord, okay.
He's Felicity and Koragar's great grandpa.
Cool. Yeah. I'm gonna go after him.
He's sitting and he's actually praying at the statue of Godfrey. He's kneeling. He's got his sword. Saw that look, Jacob. He's got his sword down, and he is just what looks like a 2-handed sword for most people, but for him, it's a 1-handed sword, and he's just kind of chanting under his breath. And it doesn't even seem to see you approach. And as you get closer, his eyes are open, and they are like just have like a little gold hue over both of them, kind of glowing. And just muttering to himself.
She's just gonna go kneel next to him. She's familiar with Godfrey. So for right now, she's just gonna let him say his prayers, and she'll be growing some flowers in her hands as he does.
Mm-hmm. You see him stop muttering and his eyes return to normal, and he just looks fixed. He goes, "All right, well, do you have anything for me, chosen of Adan?"
You don't need to be so formal.
Well, what are the two different chosens? So, seems like. And you see a similar like mark that you do have, like a little like mark on your body somewhere. I'll let you choose. On his neck, you do see the mark, the symbol of Godfrey, which is a golden lion holding with a sword behind it on his neck. And and it's very similar to the one you have for Adon.
Okay. For as long as I have lived, it doesn't get any easier, does it?
That depends on what you're referring to.
Losing along the way.
Haven't lost in about 55 years. Haven't lost a fight. And that was the ass kicking of a century. We were very much not ready for how strong that beast is.
I don't think any of us was prepared.
I've never felt so weak. It took me down in one strike.
At least you have a bit of preparation for what we're going to be facing with the serpent.
And there'll be more of us, which... I know my brother was a right git, but... Can I deny my heart hurts for him?
Me too. I was actually looking forward to make him a friend.
You would have had your work cut out for you.
I have a tendency to gain the respect of men like him. I am sorry that he's gone, and she's gonna just take the lilies, the white lilies she's been growing, and just hand them over.
He's just gonna take it and he's just gonna... Thank you, Lady Angle.
Just Angle.
That lad Timolt of yours spoke very highly of you, and it doesn't seem that he was mistaken.
I try to earn, to be deserving, but praise does get a little obnoxious from Timolt specifically. He lays it on kind of thick.
Well, I'm dipping into your accent now. Along Ravira, you know that rumors spread faster than truths. And just want to say that the rumors surrounding you and Prince of Eredale's separation, I don't think they're true. And he's an idiot.
What are they saying? It's been a year. I thought it died down by now.
He just goes, there's a few that aren't fit to be repeated in the presence of a lady.
In his favor or mine?
Yes. The lad's been spreading some things, probably in anger.
Wow.
But from what I've heard, your new suitor is much more amenable.
Apparently I have a couple and didn't even realize it.
Not referring to the king here, I'm referring to that one, the wood elf.
Kilaxul. Well, I thought what Kilaxul is what I was getting when I fell in love the first time, so I'm a little bit wary.
As you should be, dear. But you seem a good lass, and I'm looking forward to travelling with you. We'll see which paladin can get more kills.
I don't keep count, but we'll see.
Oh, don't worry. I will.
Yeah, that sounds like a Godfrey follower, if nothing else, just like my dad.
Yeah, your dad was actually the previous chosen, and he stepped down from his duty to marry your mum.
Yeah, they were in love.
What?
Well, she's gone, but I guess love is a double-edged sword.
Sorry, wasn't aware.
Yeah. It's been
It
a
makes you
while.
feel better. I don't expect to return to a living father myself. He's not long for the world.
Seems like that's a pattern wrong lately.
So it's a little interesting. My people live for a very long time, and my father's only 400, and he's looking old, very old.
Like His Majesty here.
Well, His Majesty here is a human, so I just thought that maybe that's how they looked at 50. I don't really know.
Do I know that he's not exactly human?
This guy that you're talking to now,
No, the king.
you wouldn't really know.
Okay. It just seems like his age has progressed quickly. Unusual. I've been around humans and they don't... It's been a day, 2 days since we've arrived and already he's older.
Some of those younger lived races, it's hard to say. Humans, dwarves, halflings.
I have a tendency to adopt them as my friends, so I keep track.
That must make for a very sad life. It's people you care about dying long before you.
I have a tendency to care for everybody I come into contact with so long as they let me.
Yeah, good on you. But he is holding a amulet to Godfrey, and he just kind of closes it and just goes, my brother always spurned that I was chosen and not him, but he never wavered in his devotion.
He has
Part
my
of me
admiration
wonders-
for that.
Part of me wonders if I should even tell my father. Or if he should... Don't know if in his last moments he should know his son is dead. He might kill him, learning. I have no idea what to do.
I can't offer you counsel on that, but I do know the one thing that's been helping me caring so much about the races who don't live long and being friends with the warriors who die in battle as he did. It's sad, yeah, and you miss them terribly, but there's a celebration in their lives, what they did. And as far as I understand it, your brother lived well, even if he wasn't ours.
Well, thank you, Angle. If you don't mind, I'd like a moment alone
Of
here.
course.
But I noticed your dragon was a little ill-prepared for combat, so I took the liberty of asking the smiths to make something for you.
Well, that was kind. She's always been a little iffy about
At this point,
dimension.
Sierra just lets out a on your shoulder like a little
I'm
cry
like
of
totally
sadness.
having forgotten. Why aren't you with Farrell? I'm just trying to console her a little bit. I should actually. You know what, love? We're gonna leave our friend here, and I'll show you something pretty cool.
So as you leave, he just kind of nods at you. And as you walk away, you pass Bob in the hall.
Maybe wait a minute. I probably overstayed my welcome. Just a minute. And I am going to... Can I get to the highest place I can... that I can sneak access to?
There is a tower, and normally, as you know, it is kind of like closed off, but as you get to the door, it's actually wide open.
Oh.
It's up to the library at the top.
There's a library at the top. Okay. She gets distracted for like 20 minutes looking at the books, but after focusing and Sierra...
After you're distracted, you just see the blue tiefling you've seen Atropa talking to, flipping through the pages of the book. She goes, "Enjoying yourself, dear?"
I have a tendency to get caught up when I'm around books. Sorry to disturb.
You remind me a lot of my daughter.
The one married to Atropa?
Yes, in a way. She's also quite fond of books.
Well.
But I trust that since this library is usually unoccupied, I trust you came up here for a reason. Would you like me to vacate?
Oh, no. You're perfectly fine. I was actually headed up to the roof.
Have fun. And she continues, and you notice her reading a book of cleric spells.
Sorry, are you a cleric?
When the mood strikes me.
Interesting. What was your name?
Edith. Edith Bliss.
Edith. It's good to meet you.
Pleasure. And she just completely goes back to her book.
Okay. Gonna, just peg her as someone to... interesting. And I will go up to the roof. And... yeah. I don't know if you want to keep going with me or let's go on to somebody else for a minute.
We'll go to Atropa and do her nightly things. And Atropa, as you open the door to your room, you see Triss readying herself in her uniform that you know is her "I'm gonna go fight things" uniform.
Hey, what are you...
If you ever scare me like that again, I swear to God, I'm going to revivify you just to slap you.
You can't even do that.
Mother can!
She can. But also, she was the one who gave you bad information, so,
Listen,
I'm
when
fine.
you hear the word serpents come back and the building that your wife is in was destroyed, you assume.
Well,
And I was going snake hunting.
Hey, I'll, actually go up to her and kind of put my hands on her shoulders and look her in the eye. Looking up, she's slightly taller than me. If your mom wants to follow me, she has to do a better job so she doesn't scare you half to death, but we're fine.
Listen, apparently who she sent was a servant of my uncle's, and I don't know. He's never been trustworthy, so...
Oh.
So I'm glad you're safe. She puts down her book and her stuff, and she just sits down. She goes, I was honestly scared to even leave this building after hearing that news. But I was angry, and I'm sorry. And will you come here and sit next to me, please?
Yes, of course. And I'll go and put my arm around her. It's not still the greatest news, definitely, but fine for now.
She gives you a kiss on the cheek and just goes, you're going to be just as safe next time, correct?
That's the plan. Yeah, I mean, I kept everyone alive. I told the crew about my Staff of Resurrection as well, so if any of us go down, they can pick us back up not immediately, as long as we're not, like, inside a serpent. Might be able to cut us out, it's fine.
You know, sometimes you don't have to over-explain things the way you do, love.
It's part of my job, is over-explaining things.
Listen, you're the most adorable person in the entire universe, and I love you dearly, but sometimes you say things that make me grow gray hairs.
It looks nice anyway.
Well, aren't you the sweeterest?
Yeah. But I think we're going back out tomorrow to hopefully finish the job.
Ivanora, can he not even give you one day?
I don't choose when a serpent is trying to destroy the entire world.
Speaking of serpents, Uncle Lo did give me some information that I want to confirm with you. Your god, apparently the serpent's child.
Yeah, she told me that. How did Lo know that?
I never question anymore how he finds things out.
I should stop questioning things, honestly. But yeah, no, she...
He was also here for about 10 minutes and then disappeared. I don't know where he went.
Yeah, no, she mentioned,
So, is there any chance that she could try to force you to serve her father? I don't know what the relationship is there. I'm just very concerned about that in particular right now.
I'm not a warlock. I don't think they can, like, exchange my my oaths.
I don't really know how things work, dear. Like, I read from a book to do magic.
You, all of this is innate. You have all this badass dragon magic all yourself. That has nothing to do with books.
But
You just like to
the
read those.
book.
Yeah.
Listen, if I want to pretend that my spells come from my books, I'm going to pretend my spells come from my books, dear.
Look, yeah, no, I don't think that's the case. I did try to have her stop him. That slowed him down. That was about all she could do.
That helps that she at least tried.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to stop. I'm going to try to stop worrying about things. I know that's the hardest thing ever for me to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to worry about, but we can...
You're not helping, love of my life.
Just like you said, over-explaining things. We can... Look, I'm gonna stand up and grab a bottle of mead and bring it over, and 2 cups, and...
As you go to grab the mead and the cups, she goes up and she just puts her arms around your waist and hugs you from behind, and she says, I need you to promise me you're going to come back.
I promise.
If you break that promise, I'm going to find you in the afterlife, and I'm going to slap you as many times as I can for as many years as you leave me without you.
I look forward to it. And I hand her a glass of mead, and...
She drinks it and goes,
It's the sweet stuff.
It's... you know I'm not good at this.
I think your mother might have some elderflower. Might be a bit nicer.
Would you go get it from her room, please?
It's your mom! Why don't you get it yourself?
Because I was gonna get cozy.
Okay. Sure, yeah. You hang out here, I'll go grab it.
I just wanted to make her the most sickeningly adorable NPC I've ever created. we'll just say that you go, and Edith's not in her room, so
Good.
you can grab her sweet stuff. You do notice several papers sprawled out on her bed with many different like sigils and seals on it.
Do I get any indication of what any of this is?
Most of them are sealing spells. So she's trying to do something involving sealing magic. She just doesn't seem like she's got it down.
Okay. All right.
So
I'm gonna go back.
you open the door. As you open the door, you are greeted immediately by a kiss. And she goes, "Now let's just forget about all this crazy stuff that is happening and just enjoy tonight."
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I did fix my leg. I forgot.
You did.
Did I do that?
Yeah, you fixed your leg as soon as they got back.
Okay. Yeah, I'll change into something more comfortable and not covered in blood and ash and soot and everything.
They're both and kiss and fade to black.
Okay.
I love how every fade to black moment we've had in all of Ravira has been with LGBTQ characters. It's amazing.
Love.
Rip.
Well, the first one wasn't love. Because that was Karakun.
No.
I just said love twice, so negate, yeah.
Negate Karakun Gold Glitter.
Don't count that one.
Which apparently I'm a bad influence on Storm's characters, on Storm's players in her campaign.
Oh, yeah. No, they're already like that.
So now we're going to pan to Bob. So after Angle told you, wait a minute, you've just kind of been, just because from what I picked up, you've been standing awkwardly at the entrance to the temple, just like waiting for him to like be done with what he's doing. Till eventually he sheathes his sword and he goes, "Well, little one, if you need something," and he turns around and notices, he goes, "Ah, right, your wife."
Yes.
I
I didn't want to interrupt you.
She threw this to me, and after investigation, he holds up like a locket. It appears to be something she had made to give to you. Never got a chance. And he's gonna hold it out for you.
I'll reach high up and take it.
But he held it out really low. You're a little above his. You're like waist high on him. You open it, and on the engraving, and what was your son's name?
Oh, Hank.
And your wife's name was again?
Lily.
So, there on it are the initials BLHR engraved on it, and as you open it, there is a magical moving portrait made of the three of you. On one side, it's them the last time you were all together when he was a little older. And on the right side is when he was a baby.
No.
He just goes, "I didn't look what's inside, but I saw the outside and kind of figured it was important to you. And last thing she did before she died was throw that at me."
So, Bob is going to try to be, stiff soldier, but there will be a kind of glistening tear. Snip. Thank you.
You're going to feel
Thank you very much for
he's going to
doing
put
it.
his massive hand on your shoulder and he goes, "It's not good to hold back tears for ones we loved. You should have seen me a couple hours ago."
Thank you. I'll pat his massive hand. Are you okay?
No, and I probably won't be for my entire life. He may have been a right git, but he was still my baby brother, and basically raised him, father and mother. Well, mother's been dead since he was 7, and we're now both over 100, so half raised the boy myself. Didn't do the best job of it, but he was still my more like a son than a brother, frankly. But I appreciate you asking. And I know what it is you've lost. She talked about it. And just know, I can't even imagine. I've got a few wee ones at home, and can't imagine if they have gone. So, give my sympathies.
Yeah, well, she'll kind of we gotta keep going, right?
Right. And pardon me.
Would you like a hug? Can I hug you?
He will pick you up off the ground like this, and then hug you. And he's not going to squeeze very tightly, but he's going to squeeze a little bit. You seem like a good lass. Perhaps when this is over, I will introduce you to my sister.
Oh, well, that's a big if, but I'd love to.
Or listen, if you ever want to find her, she's usually at scummy bars.
My kind of lass, I like that.
He's going to look you up, and he's just going to put you down. Listen, all right, well, why don't you be getting some sleep?
That was a good hug, thank you.
Cold hugs are the best hugs. We're bigger than everyone else. And he's just gonna give you a big clap on the back. And just keep walking. And you see he carved something into the statue of Godfrey. And it's carved in Kolsar, but you know the language, so translate it says, in memory of Thelarar Hugora, second chosen of Godfrey. And that's it. And that's all that happens. So what do you do after getting all of that information, Bob?
I will probably I will need some time to process the fact that I now own like my mining estate as
Actually,
well.
there's one other thing carved below it. In memory of Lily, may she find embrace with the gods. And then he also carved the names of the 2 Wolf Run boys as well, and the others that went with them, so he was basically just... And it looks like they were magically inscribed.
I will, as long as, like, if I know the culture a little bit, I don't want to be disrespectful, I'll, like, pull out my flask. I will pour one out for the memory.
It's not disrespectful. In fact, the Kolsar would probably love that. So, you take your minute, you take your time, and then do you go back to your room and go to bed?
Yeah, I will probably go to bed and process.
Okay. Farrell. So as you're just kind of watching everyone, you do see a man, and with your skill in people watching, you see a man with a very recognizable gait walk through the door, hooded. And he walks up to the bar and whispers something, and the half-orc just kind of points, and you see a door that leads to the back. And he walks to the back, opens the door, and walks through.
She kind of watches it for a moment. Does she know what's in the back room?
You have no idea.
Okay, she's going to take out that coin-shaped medallion that she has. Look at it, flip it up in the air, and catch it. And highs or lows?
Lows.
Okay. She kind of just takes another moment and then will just start to walk through the door like she belongs there.
You see that you walk in the door, and as you step through, you feel a and what before, and you look to the outside, and everyone out there just doesn't seem to be seeing anything, noticing, but you see a very, very large, long hallway that's way longer than this bar, leading to a door.
Okay.
And you can hear people talking at the other side of it. Pretty loudly.
She'll get close enough where she can hear what's being said.
You hear voice of the man who you saw, and you picked up on his voice because you were paying attention to everything, the man who had been whispering into the king's ear anytime anyone would say anything and the king kept waving him off, was very like, because Blackwood was there, so he was like, I don't care about you. And you hear them saying, yes, it is as we planned. I knew Blackwood could not resist destroying the gem. Won't be long before he's dead. And without him, all the beasts rise. You hear a voice you don't recognize. So indeed, it is his blood that was taken for the seals. He's not aware, but yes. The king wanted who he viewed as his most powerful ally. Good. So he dies. And the dragon comes forth. And you hear, do you speak Draconic?
No, she barely speaks common. She can't even read, dude. No, she speaks common and thieves can. That's it.
You hear they start speaking in a language. You recognize that the language is Draconic because you've heard it before, but like you don't have any clue what they're saying.
Oh, wait, that's actually a good question. Because does Sarah only speak Draconic? Because if that's the case, then would she? I don't know. That's a...
Oh, you know what? Roll me a perception check to see how well you pick up on the Draconic.
Nat 19 for 27.
In Draconic, you hear the other voice, which is a very feminine voice, say, Tiamat will rise. Then she will die. And Herimor will rise.
Sorry, what was the last part? You kind of cut out for me.
Basically, it said, Tiamat will rise, the beasts will die, and then Herumor will rise. Which to you does not mean jack. But to other people in the party, one in particular, it means a lot.
Okay.
Well, actually, two. Because Blackwood would know all about all that, too.
All right. And was I right? Because you cut out earlier a little bit. Sorry for clarifying. The low voices are weird to understand things. Blackwood's blood, something was about Blackwood's blood. But if you want to say
Blackwood's blood is... you picked up that Blackwood's blood was used for the seals without his knowledge. Because the king wanted his most powerful ally in his eyes. And obviously you don't know if the king wanted it to be done without Blackwood's permission, but that's all. You have no idea any of that, but all you know is that Blackwood's blood is the key to the seals, and if he dies, boop, Tiamat shows up.
Okay. Did anybody seem to react when I went through the door?
No.
All right. And there's nowhere to tuck and hide in this hall. It's just a straight hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Does it sound like the conversation's like over at this point?
They keep going, and mostly what they're saying now is like, right now the Draconic person is asking about the king's condition. And it's basically just a long conversation about all the things going wrong with the king's health.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And she still had the mug. It's like probably 3/4 of the way still full. Like she's barely drunk any of it. She still has it in her hand. She's gonna go back out of the door and just post up at the bar, like just kind of leaning there for a few minutes, and then leave like maybe 10, 15 minutes. And if nobody comes out, then she's just going to leave a gold on the bar and start to head back towards, with a groan, just kind of, because she doesn't really want to go back to the palace, but it's where everybody else is. So yeah, and she'll start heading back to the palace.
Okay. And before that, we're going to go back to Little Miss Angle. What you doing?
Yeah, we're standing on top of the library roof tower.
Mhm.
What time is it in Ravira?
So
Specifically
this continent, so it's nearing midnight for you at this point. And in Ravira, that would be about 4 or 5 in the morning. Ravira is a very long way away at this point.
home.
You magically traveled here.
Right. And I mean, I imagine Dad would be up by now. He would only meditate. I'm just going to reach out and probe. And if I sense Dad's awake, I'm going to push a little more to get his attention. If not, if I sense he's probably sleeping, I'll hold off.
He is wide awake.
Okay. Dad?
Oh, well, if it ain't my little princess.
Not a princess. I
They're
guess-
not yet.
Why? This is not. This was not the point of contacting you.
Sorry, honey. I'm just real happy you're still alive.
Well, did you have any doubt? I'm reckless, but I also am only that reckless.
Well,
when I
well,
know
when
I've got-
when all the boys except you and Timolt showed back up, I got real worried for a minute.
So you heard?
I know that the snake's back, and
Didn't they say anything about the dog?
what's the dog doing?
The wolf, Dad.
I couldn't help it. Okay, breaking character there for a second. Back in. Yeah,
wolf?
they said something about a big wolf, so I put in a little contact to Tellin since they're in between us. And yeah, he's walking across dang ocean.
Walking.
Yeah, his head is above water, and so is his back. And he might be swimming. I don't know. He's a big dog. But the king knows. The emperor knows. The king of Zillion knows. And we've alerted the humans in the Frost Wilds. Their chief is coming down for... We're having a big old conclave in the Empire. And... yeah, the emperor is putting in a request from aid from Tellin and reaching out to some other worldly aid.
Good.
Apparently, the emperor has some connections to the Fae. He's reaching out to their archfey.
Well, that's good. Could use some help.
Well, yeah, because apparently, what I understand from what the king told my boys is that the serpent only half came back and the wolf fully back.
Yeah, that's about right. My team was able to interrupt the ritual, and the other team, they suffered unfortunate loss.
Well, we figured they had a chance because they'd chosen a Godfrey on their side, and basically we sent chosen and the two most powerful gods to figure it out, but didn't work out. But
No.
maybe with you two on the same team. But the
I
wolf
don't-
is gonna get here soon, hun. They estimate we've only got a week.
I'm gonna honor my promise to help with the serpent here, and then if that thing's not taken care of, I'm coming after it. I will hunt it down. I'm not going to let Ravira fall, or anyone on that continent.
Hun. If the worst happens, you need to promise me you ain't gonna come fight this wolf if it kills everyone.
If that
Not
wolf,
alone. You need to build on me. But if you don't hear from me, if I die, I know you. Don't come straight here. Be smarter than that.
I'm plenty smart. I'm just also, like I said, reckless.
Well, if you're reckless, then you'll die. And I'll be I'll be plumb disappointed in you if you die right after I do, darling.
You and Mom leave me all alone?
You're never alone, hon.
No. Alright, I promise well, considering the conversation I had with Eugora, I wouldn't stand a chance by myself, so I've made plenty of friends across Ravira and other places. And if they are friends, they'll help.
Yeah, all of the different kings and emperors from Tellin, they're sending forces, including the boy I'm kind of setting you up with, but he sending his whole army to help.
Kilaxul's sending his whole army.
Yeah, and so is some Dragonborn Emperor Rexus Goldscale. He's sending his army too.
Right?
Apparently, they got a freaking gold dragon leading their front, so we might have a better shot than we think. But needs you to promise me two things.
I have to hear him first.
You keep yourself safe, Hunter, and don't let that dang boy Timolt follow you into danger. He ain't ready for this.
I know. I'm not gonna let
And
him.
don't you just send him home because you know his dad will just put him in the fight.
What do I do with him?
Well, there is a king that needs to protect him where you are.
Fair.
Charge him with protecting that king. And he'll stay right there.
Alright.
And he'll listen to you more than anybody.
Sometimes it doesn't feel like it.
Oh, he'll argue with you, but that little boy loves you to death.
How is Denalis?
Well, he still angry, very, but the first thing he did when he saw you come back was accost all the men and ask where you were for his own brother, I might add. So his priorities are a little shook.
I don't understand. I was just told that he had been spreading rumors about me. And now he's asking about me.
I don't think it was him, darling. That sister of theirs has never liked you.
Well, is he alright?
He's been charged with leading Aradale's armies against the wolf. So...
And you expect me not to come back?
Darling.
I can't.
Deal with the snake first. And then if I'm still alive, if you don't hear from me, you can reach out to him or the king. Well, I gotta go to this meeting. I love you, honeypot.
I love you too, Dad. One more thing. Just tell him to be safe.
I'll try.
He's still my best friend.
I'll tell you this, son. He never put that shield you gave him down. Still takes it in every fight.
You're not making getting over him any easier.
Honey, after the things you saw him do, you know that's not getting back with him ain't an option.
I know. First loves are hard to get over. Wow, now I've got your accent.
I know, hon. Well, I love you. Do your best to be safe and go kick that big old earthworm's ass.
I will.
All right. And if I don't make it out of this, goodbye, baby girl.
I'm gonna see you again.
He cuts the call off.
Stubborn. All right. I'm gonna look over at Sierra. Let's bring her back. And
Well, you can't, since you can't understand Sierra, she's just going.
I'm cue the How to Train Your Dragon music. Angle kind of just stomps her foot on the ground, flings out her arms, and this amethyst and spring green summoning circle lights up big and bright underneath her, and she starts casting summon. She's gonna summon Ippo.
Sierra just immediately flies to it and wraps her little wings around its head and just starts like headbutting it like with affection. And then she flies back and she's like, "Just look like."
So
And I'm
Ippo's
not
there?
gonna role play them. Yeah, Ippo's there. I'm not gonna role play them talking because then that's just gonna be me talking to myself. So
Right. I'm gonna just scritch Ippo under her chin and be like, "We've got a princeling to find." I'm gonna jump on her back and with Sierra on my shoulder, I'm gonna go find Timot.
you see him. You find him. He's at the blacksmith in town, and he unsheaths a brand new, very powerful magical sword that probably cost all the money his father gave him to come here.
Looks
Did
like
he
a-
write home to daddy? Because I took all that money except for 100 gold. Sorry. He has
She's-
a little extra chest.
He probably had more. He probably had more money than what you took. It's a prince.
That's
It's
fair.
real.
Yeah.
Oops.
Angle's going to just land with Ippo, look down at him. I have a job for you.
If it doesn't involve helping you go kill a big snake, I don't really want to hear it.
You won't be coming along, but you'll be doing something that will be useful for me.
What?
His Majesty here. I need you to look after him.
You think I'm gonna
After-
let you? After what I saw from that other group coming back, and yours, from what I heard, they look like coming back. You think I'm gonna let you go alone?
It amazes me how much you and I are alike sometimes.
I hope that's a compliment.
I don't know. Look, I'm gonna dismount and get close to him. I don't know who we can trust in this city, in this kingdom, on this continent. We're strangers here. But one thing's for sure. His Majesty is in danger, and I can't look after him. I need you to do it for me. You're the only one left here I trust, with all my heart.
Fine. He sheaths the sword, and you notice that the engravings on the handle look almost identical to the engravings on the hilt of your sword. He notices you look at this. Well, I don't exactly have a sword gifted from Madon, but I figured I'd make do.
What is his class? He's a fighter, yeah?
Yeah, he's multi-class, but he's mostly fighter.
Okay. Am I familiar with him as subscribing to?
He's a fighter sorcerer.
Okay. But do I know if he subscribes to any specific deity?
He definitely worships Adon, but like he's not a chosen, but he's like, I don't have a sword gifted from Adon, but like.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I was picking that up correctly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's a nice sword.
Thought you'd like it.
I do.
It's not as strong as yours, but
Wow.
he pulls it out, and it's definitely a modified Holy Avenger.
Still pretty
And-
good.
It is a great sword because he is a two-hander, and he just says, I'll keep the king safe. I promise.
Thanks.
And I'll also keep your friends, loved ones safe.
That includes your family. You'll learn. After Mum, your family is all I have left aside from Pat. And at least as close as we are.
And I'll promise you this, if we get back, I'll try my best to make sure that Solana stopped spreading rumors about you.
Oh, so you knew about that?
Well, I mean,
How am I only learning about it when you've been my bodyguard all this time?
Because it's mean, and I don't...
Look, she can do what she likes. I'm not offended. I'm not worried about it.
She said that you kick puppies. I'm telling you that right now.
Anyone can look at me and know that's a lie. Do I look like the sort of girl who go around kicking puppies?
Well, there was that time that Ippo tried to eat that mastiff, and you stopped her.
Well, that was Ippo, and she's a dragon. Or she's a dragon.
Ippo just goes, listen, it looked tasty.
You know what? We've already talked about this. I promised. You get the best meat if you hang out with me and not go wandering around. Speaking of which, let's go, there's a little pub I'd like to take you to. And darling.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe my middle name, but you keep your things close and an eye on it.
Looks at his coin. Did someone steal something else? He gets really nervous.
I'm just gonna put my arm through his and I'm gonna take him over to the tavern that Farrell had shown me before.
After Farrell has just left. So you go to the tavern and you see the half orc and you see she just looks up and she just goes, oh, looks like the fancy pants is back.
Any Metheglin?
You're gonna bleed me dry of that. I went into that accent again. You're gonna bleed me dry of that.
It's my favorite.
Well, and what for you? I never tell how old elves are.
Nah. Get him your strongest. He's gonna need it.
Right? And you guys get the drunk.
And once he's pop rat drunk, Engel's gonna take him out and make him use that sword. Against her. Just do a little practice.
You're gonna spar.
Yeah, just a little practice. We don't have to roleplay it or anything. She's just trying to get him as drunk as she can get him, knowing full well that she's a very good drinker, and try to get him a little training in so he's used to using a sword in all forms.
Okay. And then I assume you walk him back to home and make sure he doesn't get lost or if anything stolen from him.
Yes, I will keep an eye on him. Right, that's all the things I wanted to do. Sorry, it was a lot.
Okay. So you guys all awake the next morning from your. Oh wait, Farrell, what did?
She would not have had it back to the palace if she wasn't trying to communicate. If that's not allowed, that's fine. Then
that's
that
allowed.
Would change what I was going to do.
She's allowed. What she want to do?
She's gonna find Blackwood's room if she can.
Yeah. You find his room
and knock on the door.
Am I unconscious?
You're awake at this point.
Okay.
That was what I was wondering. I was like, I don't know where
sleeping.
it is in the timey-wimey of the situation,
Yeah.
but
you're
there you go.
either awake or sleeping. We'll say this is towards the end of the night, like towards the early morning, because Farrell spent a lot of time in that bar before she noticed the peeps.
Blackwood answers the door. He's wearing just like a loose shirt, pants, like very simple clothes, and like on the table there's like, it's a very simple room. There's just like one bookshelf of a large desk and a bed, but the table has like books and papers just strewn about it. There's like various like alchemical supplies and different like scientific instruments. Some of them have like smoke and steam coming off of them because he was for sure just burning a few things. He looks tired, but like not in his eyes. Like he just looks awful. As he just opens the door. Morning.
Well, that answers that question. And she's going to put her hand in the middle of his chest and shove him backwards into the room. He'll let her. The thingy you did to make the room, the bubble.
Yes. And I'll do whatever the ward is. Just real quick. The cone of silence.
Yeah. It's a Blackwood special.
Yeah.
You got the thingy that makes you sick, like.
Yes, I'm cursed with the same curse as the king.
That's a bit of a problem.
Immensely.
Bigger.
He'll like pull a chair. He'll pull 2 chairs, but he's got a spare one. And he'll sit down in one and offer you the other.
She starts kind of pacing and then actually like perches on the chair, like not sitting, just kind of, perching on it. And so who's the cranky guy who was always trying to talk to the king?
You do know his name is Selamet, and he has been your rival for the king's attention since you guys were in school together as magical pupils. He is a high elf and thinks he's better than you because of it.
Yeah. Blackwood like sighs with his whole body. Selamet, he is
he's a traitor.
All right.
He's one of the ones trying to raise the beasts. And if you die, Tiamat's coming back. I kind of know who that is. There's somebody else, and the beasts are going to die. And then Harumar, I don't know who that is, but it sounded bad.
As soon as you hear the name Harumar, Blackwood, your hair stands on end because you know that is the primordial dragon, the father of Tiamat, Bahamut, Fenrir, Jormungandr.
Yeah.
Pharaoh has no, she just figures it's bad, so she's just kind of, here you go.
Slow down. So there's a lot you just said. One step at a time. What do you mean if I die?
Your blood, it's linked. The king knows, but apparently you don't. Or they said you didn't. I was kind of hoping that part was a lie.
I don't.
Okay. Your blood is linked to some kind of seal that's keeping them from coming back. And now you've got the thingies in you that if the king is any hint, I don't think he's long for the world. And if you're following his footsteps, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And no offense, but I kind of wanted to kill the guy, but I figured I probably shouldn't until one of you said it was okay. Plus, I generally don't do that for free. So.
Much obliged. Well, that's good. It might mean he knows if there's a cure. I'm still sorry. And then, all right. So, Cole, do I know what that means that my blood was used for the sealing thing?
So you know that the king ordered seals, and you know that most seals are done in blood. And the king did not tell you. That was a job he left for Selamet. So Selamet picked and chose which of the king's vassals would be used for which seal. And the only thing Selamet ever told you was that Selamet's blood was used, or not Selamet's blood, that Selamet, the king's oldest son, who died very recently, his blood was used for the seal on Fenrir.
The king's son or Selamet's son?
The king's.
Sorry.
The king's. Sorry.
Yeah. So presumably he used my blood for Tiamat.
You can assume Tiamat, as she is one of the only 3 bad ones that hasn't risen.
And he'll ask Pharaoh, like, do you want to know what it all means, or do you care or not? I don't want to go on an explanation if you don't want the information.
Of course I want to know. If this thing is making it where I can't get the farmland that I'm supposed to be getting, that I really think I should have already gotten, considering I did what they asked me to do, yeah, I want to know.
I was going to tell you anyway. It was just how much detail I put into it. They used my blood to on the seal to lock away Tiamat, and they
That was
used
stupid.
Immensely. That's why I wouldn't have wanted them
I mean,
to.
no offense, but you're like gonna die eventually, and then what happens? Poof, we get Tiamat. He's the big one, right?
She.
Oh, oops. You get the vibe. She's literally probably heard some kind of story sitting in a pub, and it is maybe 25% correct.
Tiamat is the mother of all chromatic dragons, and I would have strongly advised it not be my blood. But it seems that Salamit, of course, as you've found out, well done, has his own motives, and it is wild to me that had anyone else broken that crystal, it could have been them with those shards inside them.
Well, that might have been better, because then we wouldn't have been linked to another great beast that could destroy the world. Yeah. At least I don't think I am.
And then, what was the name of the primordial dragon again?
Herumor. Herumor.
And Herumor is the primordial dragon of all dragons, the forebear of all of them, Bahamut, Tiamat, all of them, the most powerful of all of them. So
bad,
very bad, extremely bad.
So you die, or at least that's what the sickly sweet voice kind of was saying. If you die, then Tiamat rises, and then the beasts die, and then the Herumar dragon rises.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, chances are, good news for you, you'll be gone. So, I mean, you don't have to worry about it. But
well, I like this world. I'd rather it not be ravaged by primordial titans and the like. I also want to make sure you get your farmland, and that would make that very hard to do.
Yeah. So,
if
can I kill the guy now?
No, not yet. We need to get him in a position where we can figure out what he knows, because if he knows more about the nature of this curse, then he might know how to counteract it, or at the very least delay it, and we need to know who he's working for, who that other person was. And,
I could recognize his voice. It's kind of distinct.
Good.
Kind of made me want to punch him in the face. Sounds like one of the little lordlings who comes in and always thinks they know better than everybody else.
I spend a lot of time in court. I don't suppose I know of any particular punchable voices.
In your opinion, most of them are.
Fair enough. You got me there.
Fair. We'd probably agree on that.
But you don't really get a grasp for who Farrell is talking about with that. You definitely know Selamet is involved, but as far
as
you know,
try and mimic the voice? I have decent performance.
The only thing you could really know about it is that it was they were speaking Draconic. So
yeah, and I would have said that much, but
and there are no Dragonborn or half dragons on the King's Council because they have their own kingdom. But yeah, so you don't really know, and you could try to mimic the voice. See if he knows.
Yeah, sure. I can't because I'm not that good. She would mimic just this kind of higher pitched but smooth and silky kind of voice, just sounding kind of just slimy.
Give me a performance check.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not trying that. It's not going to end well.
Give me a moment. I might have a spell that could help.
Okay.
I don't think I do. I thought I did.
hang on a second. Oh, well, what about this? Minor illusion allows me to create a sound or an image of an object within range that
That'll
lasts for the
work.
duration.
That
So
would
I
work.
basically use the sound to mimic the words that he was saying, and would give that. I will still roll performance or something if you would like, because it is a kind of convoluted way of doing it. But it's up to you.
You recognize the voice immediately. She is the woman who started the war. She was the Archon of the Dragonborn Imperium, and they were the ones who persuaded Atropos people to fight against both the kingdom you're from and Bob. So her name is Venara, and she was the queen of blue dragons. Well, she was a blue half dragon who ruled over the Dragonborn.
Yeah.
And that Imperium is basically a vassal state of the king of the Charnalt now. And they have a different ruler now, much more amenable one, and it's a metallic Dragonborn. But basically her and most of her cohorts fled. From what you understood, they fled to the continent of Tellin. So, and she hasn't been seen on the continent since the war ended.
Okay. I'll tell Farrell that that's a war criminal.
I mean, aren't we all technically? And well, all of you. I haven't really been involved in a war, but depending on what kind, never mind.
We've all done things. Wonderful. I love this. Sorry, I'm looking at spells. Sorry. Okay. All right. Blackwood stands up, grabs the staff from where it's just leaning against the wall, and kind of like slams it on the ground, and I just kind of like magically into his robes, into his day attire.
You realize it's the middle of the night, right?
Oh, I thought it was early morning.
It's like 3 a.m.
Oh.
I mean, I know Farrell. I assume she's probably semi-dozing in the bar, like in the half sleep of someone who can pay attention while they're sleeping, but she hasn't slept yet. So
then I will not do that. He does kind of stand up and pace for a moment and just say, "We want Selimit to not know that we know his game. We want him to be comfortable so that we can get him.
I could get him even if he's uncomfortable. I could make him really uncomfortable."
Selimit is also a very powerful wizard, I assume, right?
That face.
Yeah.
He's been your rival in more than just politics for a long time.
All right. Actually closed out of my character sheet. There we go. Yeah. Sorry, I got to figure out how to say this in a way, in a polite way, because Blackwood's a polite guy. He just kind of nods and goes, "I've no doubt you could. You're incredibly skilled. I want you to know that. But he is tricky and dangerous, and he is someone that you shouldn't go against on your own. He'll cheat and knows I'd be more comfortable not risking you on your own than having more people after him together. It'll make it easier and safer for all of us, and harder for him to get away." Completely unrelated. What you and your people are getting farmland. What do you farm? Livestock.
It's not for me. Don't really know. Stuff grows. rat likes to plant things.
He just kind of stares out the window for a minute. And says, I grew up on a farm, and sometimes I miss not worrying about all of this.
It's awfully boring.
It's different kinds of boring and exciting wherever you are. All right.
You're a weird wizard.
I really am. Most of me peers don't like me.
That's all right. I don't like most of your peers. Those are other wizards, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I don't like them. You seem okay, though.
I appreciate that. I think it'll be best to move on Celebrate in the morning when we're all going to have to talk to the king anyway. It'll make it easier to expedite the process of finding out what he knows.
If the king doesn't die tonight.
Aye.
I mean, if he does, then we just kind of do it anyway. But, just saying. Right?
Yeah.
You all make this all very complicated.
We've all had to jump through hoops our entire life, so we just sort of anticipate having to do that anyway. Just makes it easier than getting interrupted, and you just plan to follow the rules. Or at least know when to break them.
Rules tend to get people like me killed. So I just find it's easier to go around them. I'm going to go get sleep because you look like garbage. And I'm tired and I need to find Sarah because I think she ran off with Angle still. Which, never mind, I'll find it. And she starts to leave out of the room and she's just going to turn around. I kind of hope you don't die and not just because Tiamat sounds like she sucks. So
thank you.
Maybe
Colonel.
get the thingies out of you and also stay close to Tropa.
Do my best.
Okay. And
Thank you.
I would love to find the highest place in the palace. Now that this is a problem, she's going to stay closer. So she will probably try to find a rooftop or something. I don't even know if she probably has a room, but she's never actually been to it.
You find the top of the tower.
Is that where Angle was? Because that's where she would have gone back after putting Timul to bed.
So you go back to the top and you find Angle there. Probably petting both Ipo and Sira.
She's changed. She's now in kind of like a poncho, what I'm wearing, and just kind of street clothes. Yeah. And just scritching both on either side of her, kind of just staring off.
Told you. Comes back just like you. Come on. And Farrell's gonna go and start to curl up on one side of the roof.
Listen, Farrell, I knew she was gonna come back. I don't like it when I have to go back to that place. I don't think she does either.
Well, ask her. I don't know.
I did. She doesn't.
Okay. Well, then go tell Angle about it. I can't change it.
She said she's told Angle, but Angle keeps getting her smushed.
Fair enough.
Apparently, they fight a lot more big things than we do. I thought we don't do that anymore after this.
Well, it's because I'm smart and I avoid fighting the big things. I just, kill them before they can fight me. If I have to. I need to sleep. Just either go hang out with them or come sleep. And she's going to curl up
in the corner. Notice that Angle, though she is scritching, even after Sarah left, her fingers were still kind of doing the movement until finally they just sort of fall on her shoulder and she's not noticed you at all, but her eyes are open.
Well, that's kind of weird.
Elves.
I just realized I need to check one thing. Sorry, because that would change how she would react to that. Yeah. Because Ander would do the same thing, wouldn't he? Cool.
Yeah.
Well, he's in half elf, though.
I mean, half elves don't need to fully sleep either. They just meditate. But hers is a little different from his.
Yeah,
but,
it's just familiar-ish. Should just nod at Epo and not disturb. And then start to close her eyes, but then open her eyes again and meet Epo's eyes if they're open. And when she wakes up, tell her she probably needs to talk to Blackwood. And, well, everybody probably does. And it's gotta get bad. Or really not. If it's bad. And that's just it. It's like no information. It's just that. And then curls up and very much in a little ball. With Syrah tucked like up against her stomach.
Like a cat, curled up like a cat.
Pretty much, yeah.
Do you even do like the paws over the face thing? I think that's so cute.
Yeah. And then her hood is up over her head and everything. And anybody walking onto the roof, she found the deepest shadow area that she could. So unless you're looking, you're not going to notice her.
Perfect. So with that, you guys all go sleeps. And we're going to take a break. And when we get back, we get to have some more chaotic roleplay, and people get presents.
Presents!
Does he say that loudly enough?
He's trying
Back
to
up,
whisper.
Kuriku. I will make Kuriku water. Let's get. Can Felicity try the robes on?
You can.
Costume change.
No. She's just like this is. She's like trying to. She's not sure what she's trying to figure out, but she's like.
I'm helping Felicity put on the top. Wait, what? Felicity, we should probably catch up.
Yes.
And
Oz is just like, oh yeah, we're coming, guys, and follows after.
Hair's running and folding the clothes as he does it.
Not used to this. Not used to this. This is kind of new.
Do you want the pointy stick back?
Yes. Really, I do. Please.
She's gonna take that dagger that she got from.
Hold it.
Yep.
Please don't hit, soldier.
23.
Oh, you hit.
Nice.
Roll damage.
Okay. She goes like a little like woo.
I didn't recognize her though. Why me?
Why any of us?
I don't know. It seems like most of you have some kind of reason for all of this. I can't think of any reason some tiefling is trying to bind me.
Who says it's
Or
just a
have
teeth
we-
thing?
Well, if it's more than that, doesn't make any more sense either. I have no royalty in my backstory or any wild legends or anything like that.
Next.
That we know.
There's no reason for her to find me.
In truth, there's no reason to find me. I'm a spare.
What do you mean?
Okay.
But we are found. So now we have to do something about it.
Kirku, do me a favor. Don't leave me. Not that kind of freedom.
He'll
Need
take
you.
the flowers and just kind of. She put him in a ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
He'll kind of do a little fancy flare with his fingers, and it ends up on his wrist. If it's in my power, I'll try not to.
And I will try to keep you alive.
You've got your work cut out for you there.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Tragedy of Etharis, a World of Alavar miniseries. Last we left off, some bombs were dropped. Apparently, Blackwood is not allowed to die, otherwise Tiamat rises.
Plot armor.
We
You-
hope.
Bye, guys.
Plot-
I
plot
have
twist.
none.
Plot twist, episode 5 is going to be fighting the World Serpent and Tiamat.
I would rather not.
That would definitely conclude in a tragedy.
Right, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Farrell wants to kill a wizard again.
Different wizard.
so morning comes.
Yes.
And you each are kind of gathering. You're heading towards the main quarters. Atropa, before you can get up, you've just clothed yourself. Your wife is starting to get clothed, and you hear a knock. Atropa, dear, it's Edith. I have a present for you.
I'll like look back at Tris and just a little bit confused, roll my eyes, and then go over and open the door.
She
A
goes.
present?
She hands you a book. The book is clad. It's gold, and it's clad in a seal. It's got a seal on it, and she goes, pops it open. She says, "I took the liberty of giving you a cheat code to this," and hands it to you. She hands you the Book of Exalted Deeds, but
Oh,
she's
man.
given you a little cheat, meaning you don't have to do the 80 hours of studying. You just get it.
Oh my god. This is
You're going to need it.
yeah, thank you. This is
You're
quite
welcome.
quite a present.
You're welcome, love. And the king and I have a plan, and we're going to consult Blackwood before we meet with the rest of you.
Okay.
So, spend a little more time with my daughter.
Yeah.
Love you, Han, and I will see you at the War Council.
Yeah.
Closes the door, and your wife just goes, "Did my mother just give you an incredibly powerful tome?"
Perhaps.
You are right. Boop. Oh dear. That doesn't exactly fill me with confidence because my mother, and she looks at the book, she goes, "My mother has been holding on to that and not even giving it to my sister for years."
She thinks I'm gonna die.
If she thought you were going to die, she wouldn't give you that book because she's.
She might. It might be kind of a. Oh, maybe they can hold it off long enough to someone finish it off. You know.
Right, well, come back to bed a little longer then. Mother said you could.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to read through this with me?
The book can wait a few minutes, can't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And from that, we're going to pan to Blackwood, meeting with the king.
I was gonna
Okay.
say, after we spend our time together, since I've got I don't need as much sleep. This might have been fairly early in the morning. I'm going to go down and start preparing a hero's feast for everyone.
Good job. So, Blackwood, at this point, Edith Bliss knocks on your door. She says, and I'm assuming you open. You look dreadful, dear. Anyway, the king and I we have the makings of a plan. We consulted with the king and emperor over in the continent of Ravira and came up with a joint plan. And some very powerful beings have granted us blessings. We already have a volunteer.
I don't like it when you say vague things like that.
The king, well, can't be too forward out in the open. Come with me.
I follow.
The king is sitting and he's just to the point where he has to use a cane. He's coughing, and a black liquid is starting to drip from his nose, and he's wiping it away. Looks even worse than he did last night. Blackwood, right. Heard of the fact. Please, have a seat.
What is
He
it?
looks up and you see his eyes have turned gray. He says, I can't tell. Have you sat, my friend?
Yes, my friend. But, what is it?
Two things you might not like either. Firstly, we have a plan. I must also apologize for Selamet's deception. I was under the impression you knew that your blood was used for a sealed ritual. Selamet came clean to me last night that that was a lie. We found a way around it this time.
A way
around using blood magic. Well, to a degree.
My lord, are you aware of Selamet's other treachery?
What do you mean?
He used my blood on... I activate my the cone of silence or whatever it is. Womp. He purposefully used my blood so that I would fall fighting these beasts and Tiamat would be released. It seems he is in communication, in league with I forget her name, the queen of blue dragons.
Vinara.
Yeah, thank you.
That's quite the accusation, Blackwood.
Well, I wish it were just an accusation, my lord.
You and I will speak more of this privately.
Good. I'll deactivate
Edith. He starts to call, and Edith goes, well, our plan is as such. Each one of the 3 continents that we currently have communication with have agreed to create weapons. Someone's blood must be used into these weapons, and their bloodlines will be the only ones able to wield them unless the bloodline runs out. These weapons can be used when the creatures are weak enough to seal them, and then we can place multiple seals throughout the world to stop them, and the final seal being the soul. We have one for each of the beasts already being forged. For the world serpent, we have a volunteer. Eliara Wolfrun has volunteered to bind her blood to the plate. And if this works, we can break the sealed spells that are previously used. So if the Empire of Tellin is able to forge their sword in time, they can seal Tiamat without using your blood.
Forging weapons like that, the magic involved as well. How much time is that time that we have?
Let's just say we know many people in high places, and the gods have granted us the magic. A god for each blade. In our case, Godfrey has given his blessing for the blade. I don't know what the other 2 gods are, but one of them is one of the human deities. I believe his name is Tyr.
It is very kind of the gods to lend us their instruments as opposed to fixing their own family problems.
We can never truly know the machinations of the gods.
The gods, yes, I know.
But the point stands that we can undo. It will take time. And we don't know how fast Talon will get their blade forged. But if they get it done in time, and you survive long enough, then you dying will not release Tiamat.
Marvelous.
We are also no closer to finding a cure for the disease that plagues both you and His Majesty.
Sorry, Cole, are we assuming I told them?
No.
I kind of shoot her a side eye then. I'm not gonna ask, but I'm like, okay, you get your fingers in everybody's pie, don't you? Kind of give her one of those looks.
Just kind of smiles and she leans back and she... That's our plan for dealing with the serpent and the wolf. And hopefully we don't have to deal with the most powerful among them.
I think it is a good plan, certainly more effective to have it tied to an entire bloodline than an individual. The wolf run bloodline is strong and they're strong.
Correction,
people.
I read my notes wrong on who is blessing the wolf run sword.
Yeah.
It's Bahamut blessing the wolf run sword.
Makes sense.
Godfrey is blessing
ours.
No,
or the
Tiamat's.
Tiamat. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I got my notes backwards.
Yeah, it's all good.
There's been so much. I was talking to you, so it made me think Godfrey because Cullen, but
what? No.
But anyway, yeah.
It's
correction for everyone: it's Bahamut, not Godfrey, blessing the sword that for Etharis.
Gotta get the lore.
Lore correct.
And it's Tyr blessing the Fenrir one.
Mm-hmm.
It's
So finally, a confirmation to your question forever, Tove. Your forever question.
Well, now that's 3 other questions because of what I know about the lore that my character doesn't know, but I know, because that doesn't make any sense in a certain situation.
I know what situation you're talking about, and I'm just going to let you wonder about that for a little bit.
Oh, okay. There's like 3, but okay. Good talk.
I'll just look at her and I'll say, if could I have a moment alone with the king?
She looks down at the king and she casts restoration and cure wounds on him, trying to keep him as lucid as possible without that science medicine that addles his mind.
It's not all bad.
She walks out of the bubble.
I'll just scoot around next to the king and I'll just take his hand and just kind of hold it between my hands. And I just kind of sit there for a moment with him and just, if this be the end for one or both of us, my friend, you have made my life richer with you being in it. And I would not be who I am without you, and I would not trade a single day, the days to come and the days we've had, for anything.
He grips your hand and just, my dear friend, I have greatly cherished every moment with you. Even when we yell, and I apologize for the way I acted before I sent you. And that leads me to my second piece of news. I have no children. I have no nephews, nieces. There's a new line of succession. If I am to die, you will be first in line.
I've barely have any kin. I've no children of my own.
And that's why I trust you to name an honorable successor after you.
Oh, praise. I thought you were trying to say you were going to make me king. And I was like, oh, he's finally lost it.
You will be ruling the country until you find a successor.
Well, now I have to live, don't I?
Bet your ass you do. And one last thing.
Anything.
Tell everyone here, everyone gathered, that I appreciate their efforts and I hope you all succeed. He looks at you and smiles, and then his hand goes limp in yours.
I just hold it for a minute, and then I just kind of let his body just kind of lean into mine, and I kiss his forehead, and just let the cone of silence drop, and just some silent tears as I sit there with him.
After a few moments, Edith does walk back in, and she looks and she says, "Well, Regent, shall we gather the others?"
Yes.
Oh. Might please you to know Selamet is not in his room.
If you could please alert the guard.
Already done.
I want him here.
We will find him. I'll give you a few moments. I will retrieve everyone else and I will meet you at the War Council in 1 hour.
Thank you.
She leaves, and the king is dead. Long live the regent. So, with that, we're gonna... Does anyone else want to do anything with their morning before the War Council?
Oh, go ahead.
So Bob would have been down in the kitchens cooking. We would have been baking some scrumptious like cookies and pastries because that's how we process our feelings, is by baking.
You'd actually.
And I'll bring them to the Heroes Feast when they're done.
Yeah, I was gonna say you'd probably find a tropa in the kind of main dining area, essentially, magically making out a Heroes Feast. You notice a fairly distinct halo as well that was not there 12 hours ago. But yeah.
Halo.
I think Angle would have been like anxious to try, and I know like there's no rewinding. She would probably have been hanging out in the hall, just hoping to catch the king. So she'll be standing.
The king
out there.
never left his room, and you did see Blackwood go in, and Edith comes out, and she just goes, she puts her hand on her shoulder, she goes, "Darling, go meet with your friends. Blackwood needs a moment with the king."
Can I tell what is being insinuated?
You can tell something's not right.
All right. I guess it doesn't matter then.
So we're gonna you're gonna go, and what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go meet everyone else for the feast?
Yeah, if people are gathering. Otherwise, she would probably wait with Epo to, I guess, be summoned.
Mm-hmm. Atropa, are you gonna do anything else after Little wink, wink, nudge, nudge with your wife.
No, I just start making the feast downstairs. I kind of made a wide variety of things. Unsure what everyone was interested in eating, so essentially putting everything into fairly nice sections of various meats, eggs, dairy, vegetables, fruits, and then drinks, alcoholic and non-alcoholic. I wasn't sure if anyone wanted a hair of the dog kind of situation going on, so I've just got an entire long table laid out for everyone, as well as Bob's cookies.
Okay. So, you guys are kind of do you guys want to chat amongst yourselves any before the War Council, or?
Are we eating right now?
Are we
Yeah.
all together there?
Unless, Farrell, where are you?
Unless somebody told her this was happening, she went back out into the
do
city.
we know? Do we know this is happening?
Well, we could have like had sent someone to
Servants.
everyone's rooms to let them know, like, hey, magic food.
Yeah.
And
We'll say that.
No,
We'll say that there was.
Angle
Knowing
would
that
probably know that Farrell was up there, so
Yeah, I'd grab her.
So you
you
guys
got-
get 8 hit points added to your maximum. Benefits last for 24 hours, immune to poison, being frightened. Make all your wisdom saves with advantage.
And as you guys sit in there, Core and Eliara are sitting there, and Core goes, "Oh, and Bob, was it? I went British there. Aye, Bob, I got something made for you as a bit of a thank you for last night."
Oh yeah, thanks. I didn't do much.
He pulls out some half-plate armor that has on the chest piece BLH carved on it or engraved on it, and he just goes, "Figured that you could use a little bit stronger armor. No disrespect to what you're already wearing, but it's a little bit stronger."
You're gonna make me cry all over again. I just got done.
And there's also ingrained in the armor, you notice, like on the on the pauldrons and the gauntlets, there's pastries ingrained on them.
Cute.
It's bits of fun there.
I appreciate it. I can just stick a sticker for my bakery and I will be all set.
I figured that much. It'd be good for advertising.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
and,
you.
Angle, since you're dragging outside, some of the men have something for her.
All right. You can tell her demeanor is very like melancholy right now, but she'll nod.
Ipo goes out, and then Ipo comes back in wearing full plate armor for a dragon.
Oh,
You look lovely.
Thank you. I feel much more protected.
Should have done that a long time ago, but you kept arguing about it.
It's comfier than I thought it would be. So, and Eliara is just sitting there quietly, and she's just drinking her coffee and eating the food. And then Edith walks down. Oh, sorry, what you got, Blackwood?
I'm just. Do I make it to the Heroes Feast? I don't know if you were getting to
If
that.
you
or
want to.
If I think Blackwood would definitely be the last person to show up. But he would show up eventually in time for it.
Okay, we'll say about 30 minutes in, Blackwood shows up.
It's very clear body language of not wanting to be spoken to.
Angle just kind of looks at him sideways. She thinks she can tell.
Yeah, his eyes are red, and in addition to the looking like the typical.
Where does he sit?
If there's like an open spot towards the end, if he can get it to where he's like there's someone where he doesn't have people on either side of him, he
It's a big hall.
He doesn't
So,
feel
yeah.
like being
Big
around
table.
people at
Yeah,
this
big
very
table.
second. He's getting ready.
Okay.
I
So
will
is it-
say, like, completely ignoring all of those signs, Bob will come over with just like a plate of cookies and be like, "You look like hell, dear. Take one of these, please." And then I'll walk away.
He does kind of give one of those like weary smiles where like he just kind of like, thank you. Very
Food is love.
gladly eats one. Indeed, it is.
So, about another, you guys finish your meal, and then Edith comes down and just goes, "Is everyone ready to talk?"
Now or never.
She looks at Blackwood. Regent?
Is she giving sign like we're talking now, like here around the table, or are we going?
No,
somewhere?
to go up to the war room.
Okay. Blackwood stands up, grabs the staff, and just takes a deep breath. Let's go talk about what's next, and starts walking up.
She leads you into the room, and she takes the seat that you took before at the king's right hand, and then she gestures for the. They've changed the chair.
Yeah, it's a smaller chair for sure.
It's a smaller chair, but they've changed the chair. But she gestures for you to sit where the king was sitting.
And there's like a brief moment where he just kind of like runs his hand along the table where his friend had sat all those times, and then just sits down.
Timold also walks in and goes, beg pardon, but we found this Selva, or, well, said the wrong name. I think it's Selamet chap. He was in the king's study.
Any
Carol
idea?
looks over at Blackwood with
Any idea
Can
what
I?
he's doing?
I don't really know. He was rifling through books and then shouted at me to get out of the room. But the boys are bringing him in.
Good.
Go check what books he was looking for.
Yes, ma'am.
Blackwood will just kind of look at everybody in the room and kind of acknowledge the fact of where he is sitting, and it just says, "The king died this morning. I'll be acting as regent until such time as the line of succession is reestablished, as the king had no heirs." I appreciate you all being here and helping. The king asked me to tell you all that he was grateful and appreciative and was glad to have you all here helping as allies. And I share that sentiment. Selamet is a wizard. One of my, indeed. Fadl came upon him last night. I don't know if you want to tell it, or if you want me to. It's up to you.
He's part of the reason this is all happening. I wanted to kill him.
And I want to know why he's doing what he's doing. For those who don't know, the beast, the great beast is sealed with blood magic at the moment. Selamet used my blood to seal Tiamat and was intending for me to be cursed with the same affliction as the king was, which I now am, which is why I have aged 30 years overnight. Currently, as it stands, the other continents are working on creating new seals that will hopefully resolve the issue of the seals being tied to a singular individual. But that will take time.
What happens if the beasts are released and then killed?
That is the fun part. Blackwood, I think you should probably tell this part.
Cole, you're absolutely right. I don't know if
Blackwood's mid-bite
I don't
on
know
a
if-
cookie.
I don't
Just
know.
munching on a cookie. Like,
I can have Edith say it if you don't quite remember.
I don't quite remember.
Edith goes, right,
goes,
well,
you tell it better than I do.
long ago, the primordial dragon, the first child of Adon, had created 5 children of his own. 2 of them turned good, 3 turned evil due to influence from other beings. Those 3 are the world serpent, the wolf that shall devour the world, and the great dragon Tiamat. The other 2 were the great storm eagle and Bahamut. If Tiamat, the wolf, and the serpent die, the great dragon Herumor, whose wings block out the sky, the only being as powerful as Adon, will be reborn. And if you believe the legends, he's sealed inside the earth, so that will not be good for, well, nothing, inside of our world, which will not be good for our world if he is unleashed.
Are all of those involved aware?
We have communicated with the king of the Wood Elves in Tellin and the emperor of the Dragonborn in Tellin, as well as the king of Aradel, the emperor in Ravira, and the king of Zillion in Ravira.
Do they know not to kill these creatures?
That's what the rest of the plan is. 3 swords are being forged. If the beasts are brought weak enough and a blow is struck in the beast's head with the sword, they'll be sealed back away. Lady Wolfrun here has volunteered to be the wielder of our continents. I don't know who the other 2 wielders will be for the other lands. Talon will be dealing with the World Serpent, or not with Tiamat, and Ravira will be dealing with the wolf. It appears they've chosen a follower of the human gods for them. I didn't care more. Quite dangerous if you ask me, considering they live such short lives, but that's where we're at now. And Selamet is also in league with Venara, and this would perk up everyone who fought in the war, because you guys know exactly who that is. And so at this point, that guards come in and they throw Selamet in, and he's like, "You will unhand me. I am the regent to his grace."
can Farrell jump on him and just sit on his chest?
Hold on. I think we're going to need some information out of this one.
Oh, she's not doing anything. She's literally just wants to basically, the minute that happens and he starts to get up, just pounce on him very cat-like and just totally sitting there.
Blackwood just kind of calls out to Selamet, my old friend. You've been relieved of your duties.
Under whose authority, Blackwood?
Mine.
You have no authority in this palace.
Selamet, I want you to use your very well-educated elven eyes and look at where I am sitting.
So the king is dead, and you think to usurp his throne?
Selamet, there was a time when I would have engaged in argument and debate with you. But we don't have time for that now. So you are going to tell us everything you know about what you've been planning behind the late king's back and behind all of our backs. And it would be much easier for you if you would just say it.
Seems you've got me. Well, when you die, Blackwood, within the next 2 weeks' time, Tiamat will be unleashed. But that's neither here nor there, because the World Serpent will kill all of us before that happens.
You little faith.
Us.
I had no faith in any of you.
So you're willing to give your life for whatever it is you're fighting for?
Of course not.
You said us.
Oh, correct. I forgot I was still using this vessel.
Mhm.
What?
Kill this body all you wish. Matters not to me.
I'm going to cast my Sensey Sense thing for to sense Fae, Fiend,
The
whatever
divine
it's
sense
called.
thing.
Yeah. I want to see if I
palisades.
can figure out what this guy is.
He's none of those.
None of them.
He can kind of looks at you, kind of sees you like looking at him and goes, "Oh, darling, I am nothing that powerful. I'm simply a man who is very, very good at magic."
You're also very good at talking. You can talk some more and tell us who you are if you want.
Oh, it is indeed I, Selimit Blackwood. I'm simply not really here.
Okay. I think Jake knows what's going on. I assume Blackwood might have enough information to also understand what's going on. I'm Blackwood is assuming that this is like.
What do you think it is?
I am working under the theory that this is some kind of either simulacrum or some kind of possessed vessel, and Selimit is quite literally not actually here, which is pretty obvious, but
That would be a pretty good assumption.
okay. In that case, do I know, is this something that could be, could I possibly deduce exactly what the connection Selimit has with this vessel? Is this something we can exploit? Or is this just sort of, okay.
Give me an Arcana check.
Can I assist him with that? Because Engel's going on the same. I mean, she's
Sure.
also very intelligent. Do you want
We're giving each other side eyes.
Advantage.
Advantage. I mean, I'm assuming you have more than a +9 to Arcana.
Only slightly, honestly. I have a +11.
It's still 2 more.
And 22.
You can tell that there is a connection, there is a magical tether to whoever is controlling this body and the person. If this body is... You don't know what will happen if this body is destroyed, but and you don't know if the owner can sever the connection, but you know there is a connection. Farrell, do you have something? I see you with your hand out there and you're twiddling your fingers.
I had
all...
one thing, and then I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do that. No. While she's, I mean, unless you never told me if I could or not, is she sitting on his chest right now?
Yep.
Cool. Great. She's going to start. This whole time, all this conversation has been happening. She's been taking absolutely everything out of his pockets. Like, if there's anything on this guy, it is now on the ground out. Like, literally. Okay.
There's a lot of scraps of paper.
Perfect. She doesn't know what any of it says, so.
And a dagger.
Okay.
And an amulet.
Okay.
With five chromatic dragon heads surrounding it, with a white and black orb in the center of the 5 heads.
When she gets to that, she's got the dagger. She's setting them next to her, so
Angel's
there's a stack of paper.
Walk over as
there's
this
dagger,
is happening. She wants
and then
to see.
the amulet. She's gonna hold it up. Look at it for a moment, and she's gonna say in her head, and I don't know if this is gonna work. Is this like mine, or is this different? And she's saying it in her head.
It's the same principle. You hear back, okay, I get to roleplay this character.
Yeah, I was like, are you getting what I'm saying here to you? Because you were so excited about this.
She goes, well, Mattia, that is indeed a connection to one similar to myself. And much stronger. You'll want to be destroying that. as quickly as possible, because it's also a gateway if used correctly.
Gonna toss it up to Angle if she's come over.
Uh-huh.
We need that smashed.
Done.
Bob?
Kor walks up and he goes,
Hingle's already swinging her sword at it.
Yeah, it's literally like toss him in the air. Come on,
So as
guys,
you-
play tennis.
so as you hit it, it flies and hits the wall, and there's not a scratch on it.
I think we have a problem.
I can try.
Magic.
Yeah,
My sword is magic. I don't know.
yeah, but it's probably got to be.
Maybe
It can be a
specifically.
portal or something, so somebody make sure it doesn't turn into one, and then I'm going to punch the guy. I don't care.
You take 6 bludgeoning damage.
Cool.
I'm gonna try
Angle's
to
gonna
spell
pick up the-
magic on it.
Spell
Angle's just
magic.
gonna hold it up for her.
As you cast a spell magic, you see, very briefly, filling the room, an image of Tiamat. And then the image grows bigger until it goes outside, and then it dissipates.
Again, Farrell thinks in her head, could have warned about that.
She's trying to send an aspect through. Break it!
Break it now. Now.
How?
Bad.
Are you holding it up? Are you holding it up,
Yep.
Angle?
If her sword can't do it, she's waiting for somebody else to try and smash it.
Kor draws his sword, and Eliara does well, and they both go, put it down. And Kor goes, put it down. Bob! We need everyone who can hit things to hit it! He raises his sword.
can
Eliara raises her great sword. And smash! And it does actually crack.
Hit it
And
again.
then, and then
Can-
Edith points at it and casts something, and it shatters. And the image of Tiamat disperses.
Something about something coming through. It aspect coming through.
Tiamat.
Yeah.
An aspect.
An image of her power, but not her full power, but still enough to probably kill everyone we know enough.
Great. Awesome.
I'm gonna walk over to this Selamet, this body or whatever, this vessel.
Still sitting on his chest.
Totally fine with that, and just kind of gonna like crouch down, do the hands on the knees thing, and just kind of get real close to his face, and just with a look of absolute pity, just you could have done so much, achieved so many things. And instead you waste everything you could have been. There was a time when I would have been angry with you. Gladly would have slung spells back and forth, but I just don't care anymore, Selamet. I feel sorry for you.
He just responds, that self-righteousness of yours has always been such an annoying trait. You talk about me accomplishing things, but what have you done? You sat in a school wasting your life away when you could have been ruling. You could have been creating a new order, as I have.
And that is
You say
why
I've done nothing, but you have squandered every gift given to you. And I will be there. I only wish I could be there to laugh when it all blows up in your face. When you lose everything. The king was the first step. That school of yours will burn. That little rat who follows you around, Eleanor, she'll die. Everyone will die. And my favorite blow is possessing a body of someone you cared for deeply. And you look at the eyes, and they are very distinct eyes of the king's firstborn son.
I cast I'm gonna cast Dispel Magic.
Cast Dispel Magic, and Selamet's visage disappears, and the body of the king's firstborn son just rolls, dead, decayed a little. The smell of a dead body just hits all of you. It's clear Selamet was puppeteering the king's son's dead body as a kind of a hidden insult.
Carol backs off, stands up, and picks up the dagger and the notes and walks over to the table away from the dead body.
I see you over there, Storm.
This seems more like my purview. This is not my... I don't know. I don't think I knew the king's son, right?
You did. You fought against his brothers, and the two younger sons were fighting in the war, and they did die in the war, but the oldest son died under mysterious circumstances, and his body was never recovered.
Okay. I'll look to Blackwood and say, I did not know him. What would you like me to do? I can bring him back if you think that would be appropriate.
You know more about this than I do. I don't even know if it's possible to bring him back after what his body has been used as.
I can bring someone back who's been dead for over 200 years, so... But
can you ask him what he would want? I know some clerics who can.
If...
I could also do that.
If... I don't think this is a pressing matter at the moment, unfortunately. We can take his body to the, to rest while we take care of what we need to.
Okay.
And...
Edith thought and she goes, this could make your search for an heir quite quick, Blackwood.
That was my thought exactly.
And as well.
Something you'd like to take care of now, or...
I suppose, as he kind of stands up, clears his throat, Atropa, if you do bring him back, then is that a resource taken away from you that we might need later? We are nearing the end game. We need to be very careful and cautious with what we use and when and how.
So I have my staff, and I pull my large staff that I kind of put had been carrying with, kind of bump it on the ground, and a large kind of scythe comes out. I have the ability to resurrect using this. This would not use my spell slots. The resource is there, and let me double check things. What point of order, were we planning on leaving today? Or was that tomorrow? Okay.
And the sword, I will say this, the sword is nearing completion because, divine help is always real nice.
Right?
While this is happening,
Depends who you're talking to.
Angles put the prince's head in her lap. She's knelt down and she doesn't want him to be uncomfortable if they do this.
His shoulder-length blonde hair is starting to it started to fall out a little bit, and his skin has gotten pale. He hasn't gotten to the point where he's bloated yet, because he hasn't been dead he's only been dead for a couple weeks.
Okay. Well, no, it's about 2 days before they start bloating.
Yeah.
Bad.
Oh, okay,
I was gonna say,
Unless
they were being preserved by someone using their body. He was preserving the body to keep it intact long enough to be his puppet.
So I can say we have a couple of options. I could preserve his body for now. We can kind of decide what you would like to do after we figure things out. That would not require any of my resources whatsoever. That does have the chance to, if someone knows that he's here, if we don't have a way to protect his body, someone stealing it, burning it.
I have someone who no longer has anyone to guard, and I need a reason to keep him here.
Okay.
Walt's in the room and he's like, "What do you mean?"
Don't worry about it.
yeah, Blackwood will definitely look at Atropa and say, "We can, if bring him back.
Okay.
Bring him back."
Sure. And I will
Blackwood,
Go ahead.
This can be disconcerting. Maybe if you hold his hand. I want him to be
Blackwood will definitely kind of go and make sure that he's going to be in view when the lad returns.
It is an ordeal to come back from the dead, especially for more than a minute. Anything longer than that, it can be rough. So the scythe will start to glow a bright kind of blue swirling purple, and I'll just like gently place the tip directly onto his forehead, and I'm going to cast Resurrection.
You hear a noise of lots of like hissing and slithering and like serpent-like voices around the room, given who Atropa's god is. And you hear a voice, "Come back to the living, Prince of Men." And his body pulses green and kind of hovers off the ground for a second. The pigment returns to his hair. It stays in place. His skin returns to its normal color. And he just sits up and he like freaks out and punches.
Angel's like trying to make sure that his head doesn't drop on the ground. She's like right there.
And he's like, "What's up?"
Breathe.
Carol's gonna hold out a cookie. She's sitting on the table and she's just gonna hold out a cookie that from Bob. Like, want one?
And this is clearly like a kid in his like, he's 19 years old. Like, his younger brothers were in the war and they were 16 and 17. Well, they were in the war, but they died in battle, in a different battle, because obviously the war was a long time ago. But he just goes, "Uncle Ray? When did you get... Where's Selimit? He asked me to visit him in his office, and that's the last thing I remember is going to talk to him. He said it was about my father. Where's my father? Where's... Who...
You've been gone for a minute, lad."
Speaking of which,
I
Angel's
was just talking to Selimit a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, he's a bit of a jerk.
I'm gonna turn and look at Edith because I think she might be better equipped for this than I am.
Hello, Arathis. Auntie Edith? You know I hate when you call me that. Well, first of all, these are all vassals of different people. The World Serpent has indeed come back, and your father is... Well, I believe Blackwood would be the best. Long story short, Selimet killed you and was using your body to disguise himself while he was elsewhere. And your blood was tied to bringing back Fenrir. So when you died, he woke up.
But I'm sorry, Cole. Earlier you said the world serpent. I'm just clarifying for my notes.
I corrected myself in that moment. I went, sorry, the wolf, because the wolf woke up first.
Okay.
And they needed a ritual to wake up the world serpent. They didn't need one for the wolf because...
Okay.
So he's just like, that's... Where's my father? I need to see my father. You're muted.
Oh, no. Sorry. Your father passed on, Arathis.
He was fine. He was healthy.
He was...
How long have I been gone?
A few weeks.
How could he have died in it? Who killed him?
I think it was likely Selimit.
How?
Your father was cursed. It was deteriorating. He hung on. But it's...
He gets up and runs for the door,
No,
and
take.
he starts to fall.
Angle's
He
right
kinda,
behind
falls,
him.
and
She's very aware of how this goes.
And Core puts a hand on his chest as he gets up. He goes, "Easy there, lad. You won't quite have your legs yet." And Core picks him up and puts him on a chair. He goes, "Perhaps the rest of us might give Blackwood, Edith, and the boy the room." Or even, Edith goes, "I'll be letting Blackwood and the boy have the room. The rest of us, we can reconvene in the king's study."
Farrell's going to gather the papers and the dagger that are left. And then
Timol's also holding a couple books, and he goes, "Oh, here you go, Angle."
Thank you.
And as Farrell leaves, she's going to set the cookie she was holding out earlier. Trust me, it helps, I think. And then she's just going to leave the room.
Eat slowly.
Blackwood, make sure he eats and drinks. He's going to need it.
Aye.
And Timol goes, "Do you want me to guard the door, Mum?"
Yes. Yes, please. He's your charge now until I get back.
But, name's Timol, Your Majesty. And Etharis goes, "Majesty?"
Slow.
We'll deal with that. We'll get to that. Baby steps.
Timol's like,
Think about it.
walks out the door. Course was, well, that was quite the morning. Right, I'll be in and he just keeps walking, and Eliara is just stone-faced, and she's just like, and just keeps walking. And we'll do Arathis he just puts his head in his hands, and he just starts bawling.
I'm gonna kind of put my hands on his shoulder, and I'm gonna put like gentle pressure so that he knows that if he wants to, he can. I'm here for him physically. Like he can lean on me if he needs to.
He gives you a hug, and he's like, "You're the only one I've got left. Mum, Caleb, Riker, and her father."
It may just be you soon, lad, and I need you to be prepared for what might be coming.
He just looks at him and goes, I can't be king without you."
You can, but we don't have to worry about that just yet. But there are things that you have to know, right? And I need you. And Blackwood is also crying. He says, I need you to be strong, right? I need you to breathe. And I'm dependent on you as much as you're dependent on me right now. This is not somewhere that you and I ever wanted to be. Not like this.
His face of sadness turns immediately to just white hot rage. Just, he killed me. He used my body to deceive my father. I'll cut his throat. I'll mount his head on my bedside.
Now is not the time for rage and revenge. There are greater things at play than just that. Selamit is acting towards a larger goal, and that is what we must focus on stopping before we turn our attention to him. You must remember, do not be a king who acts out of anger and reacts harshly and rashly.
See his face go from And he starts to slowly. Right, Arathis. How would father do? What would father do? I'm assuming this is Regent. My first order for you. Deal with this. Tell me what's happening. And the first order is once it's done. I want you to deal with Selimut. And then come back and help me.
Aye, lad. There's a lot to talk about and a lot to tell you about how we are moving forward. And I will begin expositing.
I was going to say, we're not going to roleplay that.
Let me recap the last 2 sessions for you, lad.
Right, I need some time.
Of course.
Can you act as my regent and deal with?
We will carry out our plan to stop the world serpent and the other beasts. Until such time, Angle's fellow there is going to be looking after you, just making sure. Because you just came back from the dead, lad. Take it easy. Be light on your feet.
He looks at his body and he's like, because he was a pretty fit kid. Like, he was a fighter. He was a warrior. Yeah. His muscles have atrophied so bad, he's basically skin and bones. And he says, I've worked my whole life for those muscles.
Oh, they'll come back. You'll be fine.
Last thing he does is he just gives you a huge hug.
I hold him so tightly.
And he says, thank you, Uncle.
Of course, lad.
Because I know you don't know how to bring people back. Can you thank whoever did it for me? And ask them to come see me before you leave?
Of course. I will. I'll let her know.
Thank you. And can you send in whoever that lad at the door is?
Yes. Truth be told, I've heard his name about a dozen times, and I just cannot remember it. I really am getting old.
You're very bad at that. Anyway, Uncle.
Always. Names have never been my strong suit. I've got 1,000 spells rattling around my head.
Do you still have that girl, Eleanor? You called her Elsa for like a year.
Listen, two letters at the front. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Right.
Take it easy.
He's not made eye contact until the end, and he just goes, Uncle, don't let my father die in vain.
We won't, lad. I promise.
Now, as king, please leave me for a few moments.
I drink water, and I'll do the old man stand up.
Timol is standing at the door, and he has food and drink, and he goes, that dwarven lady gave me more cookies.
Thank you, Theodore. And I walk out the door.
He just walks in and puts, Your Majesty, I'm Prince Timolt of, and then that's all you hear.
Timolt, that's what it is, Timolt.
And as you get back to the room, the books are splayed out on the table, and Edith, who you've never seen look stressed in her life, is going.
Angled right beside her, trying to figure out what the heck we're looking at.
The books are very clear. The books are all studying how to make a person a vessel for, and how to summon beings through other planes into a mortal vessel. And all of the notes that Farrell had, because if Farrell didn't say she was taking them out of the pocket, y'all weren't going to get these notes. I'm glad she did, because the notes are clear that Selimut plans on making himself the full power of the world serpent's vessel.
No.
I think we're dealing with an idiot.
I don't like that.
And Edith is like, and in the notes it says that when he and the vessel for Tiamat and the vessel for Fenrir die, they will be reborn as the three generals of Hedumor.
I thought I met power-hungry men, but this is another level.
Men are stupid a lot of the time.
Edith goes, how's the king?
He's got a lot on his mind. But
Understandable.
he'll be all right. He's a good lad. He's
That's
got he'll need people around him. But
I have plans for that.
Good.
On that, I need to go speak to my daughter. Atropa, I will tell you what I have planned for my daughter soon.
Okay.
Nothing bad. The young lad will need guidance just in case Blackwood doesn't make it back.
Got it.
Edith goes, I'll leave it to you. I'll leave you all to it. And she leaves. Eliara goes, right, so when are we leaving to destroy this serpent? And I'm not meaning Jormungandr, I'm meaning that friend of yours.
Colleague, more than anything.
I wanted to kill him last night.
Well, you wouldn't have been killing him. You'd be just extra death for the prince.
Or, of course, that's goes,
We would have known sooner.
That's
There.
fair.
Cor goes, right, I'm not much of the planning sort, so I'll leave that to you, Eliara. You're needed for the ritual to bind the sword to you. I was told to take you there.
What about the other person?
Who?
Who sell?
Settlement?
Yeah, no.
Yes.
Who Settlement?
Oh.
Prince Settlement? Whatever. Who he was talking to?
Oh, the Queen of Blue Dragons.
Vanara,
Yeah.
the queen of chromatic
Vanara.
dragons, technically right now.
I mean, I was technically right. Blue's in it.
Technically right.
Okay, the point
Technically.
is that she's running
She's
around
Croton before
the
Croton.
city somewhere. I mean, I can show you the room that they were in. It was back at the tavern, but I don't know if she's still there.
Well,
I only saw him go in.
Cor goes, I think I know the room you're talking about. I'll check it out. After I drop Eliara off with the clerics who are going to bind her to a sword. Oh.
so I suppose once that ritual's complete, then the seven of us are gonna. Oh, I suppose at this point we're going after celibate, not the serpent itself.
Well, that depends on what we can get to faster.
If I have any judge, I would think he's probably going to that. He's probably been near the serpent the whole time.
There.
Might have been
Fair.
even right near where you lot were before. Just not exactly where. Depends where the snake is now, which we have no idea. It went into the ocean apparently, and we
Okay.
can't find it.
I can probably find Settlement.
I'll let you lot talk about that. I'm gonna go do a little searching and make sure that this lass is taken care of.
Atropa, do you have a location spell?
Less locating directionally, more divination scrying.
While they're discussing this, Angle is going over the notes in the books, and I will type out some questions that she's
Carol
going to
is
be looking
laying
for
on her back.
specifically.
Carol's laying on her back on a table, playing with the dagger because she has nothing else to do. Probably with half a cookie in her mouth.
Yeah. I'll be sitting beside you, handing him over.
Play that game where you stab the table with
They're both probably very good at it.
The clothes that the now king was wearing, were those Solomon's clothes?
Yeah. I mean, technically the dagger might be Solomon's dagger. I don't know.
That works.
Just see Farrell just tossing it up in the sky.
Could I possibly see that dagger real quick?
She starts to toss it to you and then realizes who she's about to toss it to and goes, and just holds it out.
I know how to fight. I'm not just a bookworm. And I take the dagger. I'll grab the dagger. I'm gonna cast detect magic from the staff because I can do that at will. Is the dagger magical?
Very.
I will cast identify. Not as a ritual. I want to do this right now.
As you cast identify on it, the illusion dissipates, and the dagger has the same symbol that amulet had.
Ah.
And the blade has 5 serrated edges, and each one is a different color of the chromatic dragons. And it has an inscription in Draconic across it.
This is the most impractical dagger I've ever seen in my life.
We should have been
5
playing with that,
blades.
huh?
And it, do you speak Draconic?
I don't.
I do.
I speak 2 languages.
I kind of do, but
So
I
we'll
don't
say,
read
Angle,
it.
as soon as it dissipates,
You can
you
order
can
in
read
restaurants.
it. It's glowing.
You can ask
with-
where the bathroom is.
The 5 colors. And those colors, the inscription says,
You can ask for apples.
when this blade is sunk into the heart of an aspect of the dragon, thus shall the dragon be reborn. So they were working on, you can tell they were working on multiple ways to bring Tiamat back. They had multiple different options.
Magic.
Poor Bob's just like,
They're trying to bring,
hang
they're
on.
trying to,
Magic.
Angle, you can read that, and I'm going to guess you give that information to Blackwood.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what Blackwood, you can kind of infer that they were trying many different methods to get all 3 of the beasts resurrected at once.
Marvelous. It's a very good plan. I give them that.
So are we smashing the dagger too?
We definitely don't want it around as another resource. But you know.
And by we, I don't mean me. I'm not exactly the smashy type. I could try, but I literally don't have anything that does smashy.
The complication is that magical weapons are notoriously difficult to destroy.
Well, you destroyed the magical amulet that was...
Yeah, it worked on the amulet.
With several
bad.
Of us hacking into it.
I think that it does not necessarily need, it should be destroyed at some point, and I would like it to be, but I think given that it is in our hands and we're not going to be plunging it into the heart of an aspect for the moment, right now, it's safe. However, I want this thing destroyed sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Question. The place where Pharaoh was before she met up with the group is here in this city, correct? That's why she was here.
Yeah.
Was there anything maybe there that would be great at, like, you know, destroying a magical item, potentially? She was doing some weird stuff, so...
That's a good question.
Farrell doesn't know a lot. It's like, I mean, she took a few things, but...
So the place you were here at before,
I'm asking it slightly cryptically, so...
They had expertise in magic, but not magic items per se. They were good at dealing with magical people.
Oh, okay.
So they know about magic weapons, but like they may not have had anything for blowing them up.
Yeah, not a, super lava-filled furnace or something. Cool. Okay.
Just to see how difficult this is going to be, you want to put that dagger on the floor and I'll pump a little divinity into my attack.
Shall we dispel the magic first? Or try to?
It's kind of difficult to dispel magic on magic items. Let me see.
And if we're leaving today, we don't necessarily want...
Yeah.
It doesn't take
serve our resources.
Right.
I mean, we do also have vaults here at the castle that we can put it in.
Yeah, you also have a tendency of letting people wander in and out.
No, that was just me taking the I took the book out and then put it in my study. I'm so far past.
No,
being
I wandered
self-conscious.
in. So did the dragon queen lady.
Yeah, not into the vaults though. That's the thing. Also, this isn't my
Where are the
city.
vaults?
Exactly. This isn't my city. Everything I've done here has been through other people.
So
I'm partial to locking it in the vaults until such time as it can be destroyed and just removing it from the equation and focusing on more urgent matters. But
Well, this could end up becoming an urgent matter.
you've
But
got me there. You've got me there.
we don't know where this man is, if he could get into these vaults. He apparently is as powerful as you, so
Want me to try to find him?
you try to see if you can get a location off of him. I'll see if I can make even just a scratch on this thing without any other complicated...
We can try to just destroy it now, and if it doesn't work, then Vault's the backup plan.
That's,
I'm here for that.
Yeah.
All right, Bob.
or I can hide it somewhere in the city where no one would know where it is.
I like that plan less. Let's put that on the back burner.
Let's see if we can destroy it and Atropa, if you can... I don't know if it will matter if he's near the serpent. And Engel's still kind of like half looking through these papers and stuff. I sent you some questions, Cole.
Can you actually look at... I know you're looking at the papers. Can you look and see if any of his kind of hair might have fallen on it, kind of gotten into the pocket?
Yeah.
That can help.
Sure. I'm gonna look for any... even if it's a sweat mark, because even if it's, dry sweat, it's still part of them, right?
Need body part, lock of hair, bit of nail.
Okay.
I'll
see if
I
can
can
find
al-
anything.
We can always send a guard to go search his room real quick. Maybe he's got a hairbrush in there. Did he have hair or was he bald?
He had hair.
Okay, good.
He had very short, crew cut. Very.
Hold on. Before we go looking for this stuff, this paper, it says you have to kill the host in order to stop the possession. Killing him would be helpful so he can't actually possess the creature, but otherwise... I don't know who we'll get to first, and if either way, the serpent is going to be a problem. Even if it's not possessed by this man.
Yeah.
So at this point, you hear a knock at the door, and Cora walks in and goes, "Well, I couldn't find anything in that room. It's been cleaned up, but you might want to see this. Should probably go to the top of the tower."
Okay.
It's always something.
He leads you up to the top, and he points to the very far north, to the snowy north where the Volican clans are, and you can see coming from the Sea of Turmoil, very distantly, you can see a little outline. He goes, "I think that's the serpent, and that's hundreds of miles away,
We need to get going.
and we can see it." And
Hey.
Blackwood, there are no teleportation circles in the land of the Vulcan clans because they don't do magic much. They're kind of barbaric people.
Have I been there though?
Nope.
Well then.
You have been... The closest you've been is the city that's kind of like the trade between them and the Estonian Empire, Runheim.
All right.
That's the closest you've been. And it would be to where the serpent is, from what you can see, it would be a couple days foot travel to get there.
Would the king have had any letters or correspondence from the Volokar clans, among his records or anything?
Maybe way back when, because the Vulcan clans have been very anti everyone else ever since the war.
Well, I will I'm gonna, in that case, I'm gonna like, I don't know, summon someone. I'm the regent. I can do that.
Real quick, Cole. Angle's been around for a long time. Would she have maybe potentially run into somebody from there that she could contact?
They're kind of like the people from the Frost Wilds where you come
Okay.
from. They keep to themselves. They don't like outsiders.
Okay.
They're very untrusting of elves in general because elves, back in the past, enslaved them.
Ah.
So they're very mistrusting of elves. They like themselves, humans. They like Kolsar because there's Kolsar tribes up there, and they like dwarves because dwarves give them good weapons. And ale. They trade ale a lot with the dwarves.
Okay.
My time
And
is
speaking of
come.
which, a certain person in your party constantly has shipments from their bakery go to the Vulcan clans.
Oh, so
I have an in.
Connections.
Specifically, one of the chieftains really likes your bakeries, your baked goods.
My top seller.
In that case, I'd ask Bob. Bob, do you have any? I don't know if you have them on you. Any letters or anything from up there? If I have an object that's from there within the last 6 months, it makes it nearly impossible to be off target with the teleportation.
This is a DM question. Would I?
Roll me a history check.
Can I assist?
Okay.
Sure, you can have advantage on it.
With my +1.
I believe in
with
you.
advantage, or are we both rolling?
Advantage.
Okay. Come on, dice.
Big money.
Oh, hey, that was okay. That's a 17.
You shimmy through your pockets and you find one specific coin that you look at and it goes, because it's made of bronze because the Vulcan clans trade in bronze. You have a bronze coin and you know that's the only bronze coin you ever get because everyone else on the continent trades in silver and gold. No one else uses bronze. And
Okay.
copper, of course, but like those are like the little pennies. But like it's a big coin too.
All right, so I will have like dumped out my entire like pocket change, be like scuttling through them all, be like, this, no. Finally find that bronze coin.
Carol has started casually
think
slipping
this is one.
as many of those coins away
Back.
without you don't even notice it.
Her sleight of hand's probably crazy.
My passive perception is 22.
Actually, what's your sleight of hand, Farrell?
+10.
Your sleight of hand check.
Okay.
See if Bob
Do I have to,
notices
like,
you taking
perception
little
it?
coins.
Stay in the box.
Angle is going to go into a corner and try to see if she can do anything about this dagger, just to see like if it's as impenetrable as that other item was. She's gonna throw a little divine smite into it because she gets those for free.
So the
22.
smite hits it, and the dagger looks unfazed.
Okay.
22.
22? Oh, that's exactly Atropa's passive. So
Meet and beat.
Atropa notices. Well,
I didn't roll well.
Atropa doesn't know. Atropa like kind of sees you moving, but she doesn't see you actually grab any coins. So she's probably like, whatever. But Bob really doesn't notice because I see your passive perception, Bob. Bob's too distracted with trying to grab the one coin.
I have a mission. I'm looking for the coin.
That's fair.
So with an associated object, that's like there's literally no chance of failure. Means that you possess an object taken from the desired destination within the last 6 months.
So that one is from. Where did I have that from? My notes. That is from Solheim to the eastern part, past the Kandar Mountains. So you'd have to go around the mountains or over the mountains to get to where the serpent view.
It's closer than where we are now.
Yep. So for
How far would
that,
that be?
core just goes before we do any teleportation or anything, we should probably go get the girl with the sword that can actually fucking seal the thing.
Aye.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Let's-
Lore. You're gonna have to
Let's-
delete me. Okay, that's like my
Ye-
second one. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
That's your third.
I'm sorry. That's my third. I'm sorry. I get into the Scottish and it
Yeah, I think Blackwood will just kind of like say, we meet outside the front of the castle. Leave from there.
I can get her quickly if Cora, you tell me where she is.
she's in the Temple of Adan and all the other gods. Listen, at least it's a mini series, so the bleeps aren't as bad if it's an actual Ravira.
I
So.
still have to do something about it.
I know. I'm sorry,
All right.
but so
Lakeside after dark.
horse goes on it, and you all go to make your preparations, and
Angel's gonna grab Ipo and go get Eliana.
you go to the temple, and the cleric stops you and he goes, "Don't interrupt the ritual." And you see a beautiful great sword with like bluish silver, like platinumish crossguard and hilt with a green gem and a silver blade with glowing blue runes. As she grabs the sword and stabs it into an altar, her body glows the same color, and you see a pair of ethereal dragon-like wings sprout from her back. And then they disappear, and she pulls up the sword, and her eyes are now like bright glowing blue. And she looks and she goes, "Oh, so what's the plan, girlie?"
We're headed out.
Big snake causing problems again?
Well, considering that it's shown itself and it's quite far, we're going to be teleporting part of the way.
She looks at her new sword and puts it on her shoulder. She goes, "Good." It
Angle
didn't
kinda
kill my
just-
brothers, but it's close enough.
Angle just nods to herself. If you want to hop on.
Just right? And she hops on Ipo,
Just
and you hear her like before she gets on. She goes to her Ipo's face and she goes under breath, "Scutchy, scutchy," and then gets on the back. Like, even though she's grumpy, she's still not. She's still an animal lover. So, and you guys all meet at the gate, like outside the gate.
So did you want me to find that slimy bugger, or are we just going straight for the teleportation?
I think we'll teleport there and then probably scry on him at some point to get a better idea of where we're headed. But I think if he's trying to absorb the power of the world serpent, he's likely not too far away from it, like Gil said.
Did we get hair or did we not?
At this point, you see Timmel walking up with the king. And the king walks up and he hands the clothes that he was wearing. He's wearing his clothes now, and he hands it. Gorgo, and well, Lord Hugora said you might need the clothes I was wearing, so here.
Thank you.
Gorgos took care of it.
We're trying to find him.
Go get some rest, lad. He goes, "I have a lot to do."
well, you've got some help. And Timmelt knows what
Yes.
he's doing.
I have to meet with the Bliss ladies, and Timmelt and I are going to go do some training so I can take my mind off things.
Good lad.
Timmelt just kind of puts his hand on the king's back and he just goes, "Right, Your Majesty, so let's get you inside."
Timmelt.
Hmm?
Angel's gonna give him a hug. Just real tight.
He gives her a hug too. He goes, You don't need to give me this big of a hug.
Of course I
You'll
do.
be back. You're coming back.
Of course. The dawn's kept me alive so far, but I'm gonna miss you. You're always with me.
Going to miss you too.
Make friends. It's better than pawns, better than allies.
Well, I think I'm going to be spending most of my time trying to keep the king occupied so his mind doesn't go to... I can't imagine coming back from that, putting myself in his shoes, finding Danelis and father dead. I died. I'm back and I'm king. I can't... He like stares off and goes, Right, anyway, I'm going to keep his mind off things. And my own. So, love you, Engel.
Love you.
Be safe.
Me too.
And he walks off. And Eliara she puts the sword in its new like little holster. It's not a scabbard. The sword's too big for a scabbard, but it's like a little back holster. Just right. So how do we get in there?
Did we take care of the dagger situation?
I attempted to.
Yeah, no, I know that part, but then nothing else.
Engel
I'm
still
just
has
making
it.
sure.
Actually, I had a. Okay, so are you just hanging on to it?
Well, I don't think we should be taking it with us.
So
It's my
if-
personal
Nope.
opinion.
I was probably gonna.
Most
put
of them are
this in
still
Discord later, but
in shouting distance. You can be like, tell
Well,
off!
well, when Engel went to get, I'm forgetting everybody. See, it's not Blackwood who forgets names. it's Jake. It's 100%.
You can just call her Wolf
Um,
Run. If that makes
Wolf
it
Run,
easier.
yes. Wolf Run. When Engel went to get her, I think Blackwood could have taken the dagger down to the vaults in that time, and he
Yeah.
for sure.
We can
he-
retroactively say that.
Yeah, and he for sure would have asked Farrell if she wanted to see the vaults.
Oh yeah, she's curious.
Yeah, I might
She's a
type
little bored.
something up. in
There
our-
are so many magic weapons on the walls. And so many. And we'll say, Farrell, this is where you get your present. So I'll let you pick a legendary magic item for Farrell to have.
Yeah.
She just
And we'll
takes
say
it.
we'll say you sneakily steal it from the vaults.
I think Blackwood probably gets like mental like pings when things are touched down here, but he's cool.
You're just getting ping, 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 ping,
Yeah.
ping.
It's like in his head, he's just going, "Please just take one. Please just take one. Just leave the others. But you can take one. Just leave the others."
If I'm
and
honest, she
Does she
They would
use
go get-
weapons?
can.
Well, it's not all
Uh,
weapons. There's also items too.
Blackwood,
So-
while we're down there, he like takes like a pearl off of a thing and it begins orbiting his head.
Farrell would not just steal from down here in this situation. So she would. I don't know what she's getting, but she would tell Blackwood beforehand. And there's.
He would.
I would argue there are reasons why she is that way for this specific situation.
Yeah.
So
He just gives like a good choice, and then
don't know
Goes
what
back
that
up.
is yet, but
yeah, it's all good.
Okay, so you guys are all at the front, and you have Eliara and Core with you for this, because that last fight might eat them. And
see. let me
So
pull the
they,
teleport up.
I'm just gonna they're like, right? So how are we doing the teleport shenanigans Blackwood you're so famous for?
It's not even my specialty.
I remember the war. You teleported people around.
Yeah, that was more utility than anything, though. All right, so yeah, me and up to 8 willing creatures. So there are 7 humanoids, Epo.
You don't have to count Epo.
I bet I can.
You can.
Actually, yeah, and I think I can technically count
Syrah.
yeah, Sarah as well. Because that's 9 total. So yeah, and kind of holding was it bronze coin?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of holding it out, kind of speaking under his breath. And then, one of the big like transmutation looking circle things appears on the ground, and everyone, we bend space around us, and everyone's stomach like does that drop thing. And it's not, it's a blink of an eye and we're there. It's like a voom, and that's it. But because I have an associated object, it is 100% successful. I don't have to. Well, I mean, I can roll, but it's 1 to 100 is on.
We'll say it
target.
works. You guys get there and you land like on the outskirts, like right outside the gates of a fairly big, like kind of Viking-looking civilization. There's a lot of humans, very tall humans, but still humans. And you see the occasional Kulsar as well. Like they're just kind of minding their own business, and they kind of see you guys pop in.
Wait.
Go back to their farming.
Yeah.
And then they see Bob, and you hear them talking in a different language. And then one of the guards looks up and he goes, Oh, you're Bob from who makes those tasty treats, yeah?
Yes. Forged in flour, that's me.
I don't know. I can't really read the name because it's not in the language. But if you want to, do you have any?
I have just like I have probably like a little go bag of them, like a little amount.
He takes one of the
Not a whole shipment.
He takes one of the dagger eclairs and tosses you one of those coins.
I still haven't tasted one of those.
He eats it in 2 bites, and he's just like,
Good.
"Thank you very much." And then he just goes back to standing at the gate, and the other guard like nudges him with his spear, like, "Lift your post, dude." But they don't pay much attention to you guys because you're outside their gates, and the farmers haven't really noticed because like you can't really see over the mountains. You can't really see the serpent from here, but you know that that's kind of where it's at. So the mountains are pretty dang tall. But your options are to either go west through the mountains and then north, or northwest and go completely through the mountains. And that's about it. So through the mountains and then flat plains to the north, or just northwest and go straight through mountains.
Angle,
and I'll let you,
without saying anything to anyone, is going to hop on the Epo and just do a quick... she's just going to zoom straight up and try to get a bird's eye view and guess which would be the quickest.
You are, as soon as you can see over the mountain range, you get up there and you see the massive head of the world serpent reared up in the distance. And the rest of its body, as you kind of look, you can see its body like in the ocean. Basically, little like bumps are popping up everywhere. And it doesn't take notice of you, and it appears to be looking down at something.
I can't see what it's looking down. All right, that's too far.
It's too far away.
Okay. Can I get a?
You can see it's looking at a glow.
A glow. Great. Bet you that's where our guy's at. Okay, can I see the quickest way versus the easiest way?
The quickest way is northwest through the mountains, and the easiest way is west and then north through the snowy fields.
All right.
Everything's caked in snow.
I'm going to, as I was mounting Epo and going up, I would have linked with Blackwood. And Blackwood, you hear in your head, all right, we have a couple of different ways, but unless you wanted to, I don't know, polymorph everyone and fly us there, it's already started. There's a glow right under that serpent's head.
Wonderful. Let me look at all of my spells. So many spells.
Right?
Far too many.
Level 20 now.
It's an unreasonable amount of spells, really.
Yeah.
And until Angle gets an answer, she's going to be keeping an eye on that just to see if there's a surge in energy or something.
I don't think I... Oh, no. Okay, first I was like, did I unprepare polymorph? All right, so let's see. So yeah, you can't. Yeah, I always forget you can't. Polymorph is not an upcastable spell. There. All right.
No,
I mean,
it is not.
I could carry 2. If you polymorph, I think, can you polymorph 2 people at a time?
You notice at this point, Angle, that Eliara is flying next to you with her new wings.
How long can you keep those out?
I don't know, but they haven't. I've got this little voice in my head telling me I can keep them going, so.
The voice?
She's way above you right now, Trippa. You can't hear her.
Oh, I didn't know they were all the way up there.
She's up with Angle.
Okay.
Probably all right then.
And she flies back down.
So
goes,
I mean,
hey, and never mind.
No,
What do you think?
No,
goes,
I was.
Everyone, the big snake's that way.
The way that Angle is pointed and looking at.
So in theory, in theory, if you take me up there and I can see where the serpent is looking, there's a chance I could teleport us there again. I'll be honest with you, gang. Not a great chance. This isn't Blackwood. This is Jake.
How long, Cole, how long would it take me to fly on Epo to a closer location?
At full speed to get, if you're trying to get like to the serpent, like 8-10 hours.
Oof.
How about on the other side of these mountains?
That would only take you like 4 hours.
Okay, that wouldn't work then. That's still too long.
And the count did not reset, by the way. So there are 13 hours until the serpent is fully put into Selamet.
Like that.
Can conjure a Pegasus, but that only lasts an hour. That doesn't really help us.
Yeah.
So for context, people who can already fly are Angle and Eliara. Core he technically counts as large, so he would be extra carry weight.
Would that hinder Epo?
I would say it would make her a little bit cranky.
She's a big girl.
I'd say it'd be fine with Epo specifically.
Okay.
So Core would have to ride on Epo, I will say. And
unless he was one polymorphed and he carried other people, if that's the route we're going.
And Eliara's she's strong enough to carry one other person for a little while, but like she's a strong lady, but she's not like inhumanly, like she's got a strength of 18. So
our options seem to be...
She's a muscle mommy, but not that much of a muscle
mommy. To either do some polymorph and fly, or use some kind of spell that allows flight, or teleport and cross our fingers.
So I just, for funsies, just rolled my percentile die a few times. Didn't roll above a 45, like in the 6 times I rolled. I'm not feeling super confident. So my only, so speaking in terms of mechanics, my only concern with polymorphing and or using fly is that's going to use to travel like the several hours it's going to take to get there. That's a lot of spell slots we're burning through.
Yeah, we're in a pickle.
Plus fly, like I can upcast fly and cast on multiple people, but that only lasts 10 minutes.
Let me see if I prepared a spell. Hold on. Oh, what is it called? What's that one where you all turn into clouds?
I was just kind of waiting to be like, does anyone look at the city we just said? So the thing about the Volokins is how they raid is they use airships and jump out of them and land on people.
Oh. Wait, is there just an airship sitting right there?
There's multiple.
How are we gonna get?
I was about to ask.
Farrell's just sitting on it, just on the side, just watching all this.
There's literally dozens of airships.
I think we would have noticed that.
Thank God we weren't talking.
Perception completely got past me.
Thank God we weren't talking in character.
I'm just saying. I'm just like. I was waiting for someone to be like, "Can I look at the town?" And I'm just like, so I was like, what? That's too mean to keep them guessing.
I was about to ask, like, I've been here before. Do we know, like, do they have Pegasus?
The Volokin clans are actually the one bit of magic they use is for their airships.
Cool.
Hey, they have shamans and stuff too. They use druid magic. Basically, the only humans here that use magic at all are druids. And everyone else is fighters, barbarians, rogues, sometimes rangers, so we'll count rangers. But like, there's dozens of airships. And Bob, you have an in with the chieftain. So Bob gets roleplay.
How convenient.
So we'll play that actually to the end. Like if you want to go to the gate and we'll speed run this, you say, "Hey, can I go see the chieftain?"
Yeah.
They're like, "Yeah, oh, of course, right this way." So you go and they open the door and there is sitting on her little wooden throne is a blonde-haired, blue-eyed beast of a woman. I knew you were
Hello
gonna
there.
And she walks in and she looks at you and she goes, "Oh, hello there, Bob. Nice
Hello,
to see
looking
you."
lovely as always.
Her name is Eridra.
Repeat that?
Eriadra. Eridra. Eridra. And she's like, "You've got a bit more company than that giant lout who follows you around?"
Yeah, I'm not necessarily here on current business. I think I may have told you before I used to be a fighter.
Oh yes, you don't get a body like that without some training.
What? Well, I'm so glad that you've noticed. I do have a question for you. I have some sweets here if you're interested in that, but one of your airships, could we perchance barter for one of those? We could bring it back, theoretically.
Barter. Well, I have an idea. You know, the several times you come here, you've we flirted here and there, but you never made good on your promises.
I'm a busy woman. I'm sorry.
Favor for a favor. A favor for a favor, dear.
What kind of favor? I have a lot of cream-filled swords back at my place, not necessarily with me, but
I'm not much for the cream-filled swords.
Interesting. What were you thinking of? I can make customs.
Perhaps we should have a chat. Just the two of us.
Okay. Now or?
Oh yes, we've got a back room here.
You feel a thud in your back, and it's Syrah just going, "Hey, dummy, go!"
How? So we kind of have somewhere to be.
She's just. It won't take long, and she grabs you by your plate mail and picks you up off the ground and walks you.
Oh,
she's about 6'6".
Okay.
I promised you a giant woman.
You did. I mean, but like 8 hours, that's gonna like really cut into our time.
I'm like, won't take long. What are you talking about?
Roll me a performance check.
Gosh. This whole time, Ankle's like, there's this look of like total unawareness. She does not know what's going on.
Cora's just like I'm the woman.
What are they gonna talk about?
They're not gonna be talking much.
Then what are they gonna do?
Eliara just grabs English and goes,
Talk about it later.
"We should probably wait outside."
Yeah.
So, performance check? Is that what's happening right now?
What'd you roll?
I'm sad to say an 11.
That's above average.
It is.
After about
I had to go quick. It's unusual.
After about 18 minutes or so, Bob and the chieftain walk out, and the chief. I did addition and subtraction, and I did math in my head or whatever. So she walks out with Bob, and Bob is bright red, and she just goes, "You can have that airship right. You can have that airship right there. Just bring it back when you're done, and if you don't bring it back, I'll assume you did. But pleasure seeing you again, Bob, and I'll have some more of your tasty treats next time I see you."
And I shall yours. Yep.
And she just kind of smiles and walks back into her longhouse.
Seeing Bob all flush, Angle's gonna reach out. You look really hot. What happened? And she's gonna just use Druidcraft to just very kind of cool her face a little bit.
Eliar just
You
goes,
know,
oh, this girl
I
doesn't
don't
have a
know.
clue.
What did Bob say?
Eliar's, oh, sorry. What did Bob say?
It all happened so fast. I honestly don't quite know. We have a ship.
Oh.
And can you like get this buckle? It's hard for me to get on my own.
Yeah.
Trying to
She's
get the
gonna
armor
help
back
her.
on.
Now is an important question. Do any of us know how to fly it?
Nope.
Or raises his hand.
Sierra
Go,
raises her hand.
Does Angle?
An airship?
No. Cor raises
Yeah,
his hand and
she's
goes,
always flying on
goes,
Evo.
well, my mother is from a similar culture on Ravira, so I know how to do it.
I'm looking at Feral, like, what?
Oh, Farrell didn't raise her. It's Sierra who raised her hand.
Wait,
That's what I'm saying.
what? That's
Who
yours.
knows how to fly
You're
this?
lucky Farrell's still standing here. She's like
So Cora
wandered
goes,
off looking at her
right.
new
More
toy.
confused that the pseudo dragon is raising her hand.
Cor goes, right, I know how to fly it, and I can instruct if I need any assistance, but it's pretty simple, honestly. We just need someone to power the power source with some magic, and we have plenty of options for that. Blackwood, it won't even take a spell slot's worth, just a cantrip's worth.
Oh, marvelous.
He brings out this, like, gem. He goes down below decks, comes up, brings out a gem, and goes, alright, if you would. And he
Angel's
just,
like right
as-
there watching. She is so curious and so like,
All you have to do is put your hands on it and concentrate some magical power into the crystal. It glows really quickly from like a little bit of power. And goes, oh, you almost blew it up. It's too much. I forget how good you are with magic, lad. And he goes down and he puts it, and the ship just whirs right. The sails unfurl on their own. The crystals on the sides just, and it just goes straight up into the air. Cor runs out and he's on the helm and he's like, all right, are we going straight to the snake or are we going to where it's looking? Because it's going to see us coming a mile away.
we're supposed to bring this back, right?
Yeah.
To be fair, I think Bob can use her words, and he puts air quotes on words, to make the chieftain forgive us.
Maybe. I mean, ideally, if we could bring it back in one piece, but I think saving the world probably takes priority.
So
The crown will
no
pay for a new one if we need to.
crashing into the serpent.
Well,
I
that-
have a
might be
hard
bad
time
for us
believing
as
we're all
well.
going to survive
Let's
that.
talk as we
Yeah.
fly. Let's talk as we
Yeah.
fly.
and as you
Yeah,
guys are
yeah.
heading to the serpent, that's where we're going to cut off today's episode of Tragedy of Etharis. Speed ran that end a little bit there, and so we will see you all whenever this airs. 2 weeks after this airs, whenever we record it. Everyone have a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas, and we will see you all next time down by the lakeside.